verse is divine. Words inspire in perfect time, nurtured right. Them man there be learning lines, rehearsing lines. Trust me, far from certified. Acting while you sleep, I'm working nights. I want all the ups to feel like that Jurgen guy on Merseyside.
Right, big up everybody. Like, subscribe. Yeah, we're gonna chop up this shit Arsenal game again. Unsurprised by the results, but the performance, even though we knew Arsenal were going to be a better team than us, it was fucking pathetic. But we'll get into it. We'll get into everything because there's a lot to talk about in today's stream. It's time everyone stops overhyping these players, defending them like they're your fucking boyfriends or girlfriends, depending on the player. Be real about the players that we have. Be real about the squad that we have. And stop overhyping them for fucking mid. Or for getting good performances against the likes of Zagreb and Salzburg. People really just take the fucking piss with what is acceptable and what is the standard here at Chelsea. But we're going to delve into all of that in today's video. Hit the like button. Subscribe. As always, one like is one prayer for me because I fucking need it. And yeah, we'll get into everything. Hit the like and subscribe button. Check out Jerseys FC down in the description below for all your best affordable football kits. If you still even want a Chelsea kit this season. If you don't, there is plenty of other kits to choose from. World Cup kits. We do know it's World Cup season soon. Have a look. Use the code CarefreeLewisG for 20% off. If you want to be involved in a chance to win a third kit, any super chat, any amount puts you in the lottery for it. And yeah, check out Flawless's stream in the check out Flawless's track in the description below. And let's get into it. I'm gonna be so behind on this comment section. So guys, if you want your comment read out, seriously drop a super chat. I'm not even saying that to be stingy. I'm gonna be very behind on this comments just because there's gonna be a fucking lot to talk about. But we'll get into it. Super Tommy Tuchel says, hoping Lewis talks about Mount and not just Havertz. Of course! How could we ignore the fact that Minerals Mason Moutinho got dispossessed more than he completed passes? But hey, he is our creative outlet. He is the reason why Chelsea tick. He is the glue of Chelsea Football Club. Maybe that's why we're 7th place. I prefer not to speak. Actually, fuck that. I am speaking. I'm crashing on all of these fuckers. Supreme says stop protecting players. Also, Lewis will proceed to protect Jorginho, guaranteed. Did Jorginho play badly? Other than Silva and Chalobah, who else played better in the starting 11 than Jorginho? I would like to know. I really would. I'm trying to call it how I see it. This isn't a stand thing. If Jorginho was shit, I'd crash on him the same way I'd crash on anybody else. But let's call it what it is. Jorginho wasn't bad. Ruben, Mount, and Havertz was shit in that midfield, not him. He was surrounded by shit. You lose players when you keep talking about playing your way into a lineup and competing for spots, and then proceeds to never hold players accountable or give other players a chance. This is where, it's hard to judge because the World Cup's about to come through. So we're not going to see Chelsea play week in and week out. But for the Newcastle game, as a bare minimum, you cannot have the same starting 11. You need to start benching the likes of Mount and Havertz and Sterling because they're not playing well enough. You can't keep justifying shit performances with starts. I said the same thing under Tuchel, and I'm going to say the same thing under Potter. That is the one thing that the pair of them are doing. Still giving the same bums opportunities despite stinking up the pitch. It's pissing me off, man. Miko says we're not going to... Hey, when I said this in the summer, I was called negative. How dare you be worried about the likes of Arsenal and Tottenham? You're not a Chelsea fan. We are better than them by default. That's what I was told. That Jamaican saying comes to light again. Those who don't hear must feel. And there is a lot of people that are feeling. That's what happens when you back the wrong horse. Pick up everyone locked in. Ilias, Kushal, Priest. Harry, I'll send you the link later if you're about. Big up yourself, bro. Finding Mount says, big up Lewis. Nice to see your 17-18 self on Sunday. Yo, I just try to keep it real. And I said I was going to crash on those fuckers if we had a shit performance. They're just lucky we didn't get battered in terms of the scoreline. But that 1-0 result was very, very nice on Chelsea. Should have been 3 or 4. At no point in that game were we dominating. No point. One of my mates said it to me about 10 minutes from time, and I didn't even deep it. We never tested Ramsdale that day. What did he have to do other than just stand there and get wet? Pause. What did he have to do? Nothing. Throw the ball out a couple times. Maybe a goal kick. Fuck all to do. And all the people who were calling me negative 2 or 3 weeks ago, I want to know where they are. All the people who were on my neck because I wasn't getting gassed over meaty 2-1 wins over Zagreb and Salzburg. I want to know where they are. And in fact, give me a second. Give me a second, because if I find the right place, because I want to hear what everyone who is on my neck has to say. So you know what? Where is this? Can I unblock people? Because I might just do a fat unblocking. Everyone who pissed me off before, you can come back in and you can tell me how you feel. Tell me how you feel. Can I unblock everybody? Let me see. Is that an option? I hope so. Maybe I should have done this earlier. But I want to see what everyone has to say. All the people who were on my neck the last few weeks, I bet they've fucking gone quiet now. And I'm not even happy. I feel vindicated because this is why I was negative. But don't ask me to be happy about it because I'm pissed off that I'm right. But I knew I was going to be because this team is shit. And I've been saying the team's shit. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, I guess I can't unblock people. Oh, well, you fuckers can stay blocked. I don't want to hear your waffle anyway. What else? Go AM says, no way Zora dropped an Arsenal this take only to barely top Lukaku Savić. Hey, why is that, Go AM? Is it not because of your boy Kai Havertz? Hey, generational, creative genius Kai Havertz, who's playing in his natural position. If he made just one simple if he made one simple cutback in the first 10-15 minutes, Aubameyang can put us 1-0 up, and it's a completely different game. But generational Kai Havertz yet again fucked up in a big game. Imagine my shock. Imagine my shock. Aubameyang barely did anything. But what do I always say about Aubameyang? Feed him. And who do we have to rely on? Mason Mount and his fucking, I'm going to get dispossessed more times than complete passes, but I'll probably still win man of the match anyway because I've got a fucking PR machine up my ass. Or Kai Havertz, who everyone makes the biggest mental gymnastics to try and figure out how to use. Maybe we don't play the right system. Maybe we don't put him in the right position. Maybe if this happened, we might get a 7 out of 10 from him. They're both shit. Simple as. If we fed chances to Aubameyang and he fucked them up, cool. I'd be on his neck too. I am not going to have energy for Aubameyang. Because the fact is the people behind him were 10 times as worse. 10 times as worse. And if they fed him, we would have been 1-0 up. And who knows? Might have been a completely different game. But we won't know because that generational bum couldn't make a simple 5-yard cutback. But we move. What else is everyone saying? Big up everyone that's locked in. I'm only just going to go through the comments of like actual stuff leading into the game. So everyone else, big up yourselves. But like, there's a lot of comments to get through. Kushel, anyone who's put her out is a fucking idiot. Simple as, because it's the same problem as Tuchel. It's the players. It's the personnel. Let me get these super chats and then I'm going to scroll back up. Because I do need to read these first. Give me a sec. I'm gonna. There's a lot here, so I don't want to skip too much. Right. So Rigo Park says, "Why are so many defending Kai and Mount making excuses, calling them generational talents? The Nile is a river in Egypt. Get real, people. It's about time people get real about these players. You're not negative if you don't rate them and blindly look past all of their deficiencies. It doesn't make you any less of a fan. It just makes you a realist. But apparently." The going consensus is we need to blindly follow them, blindly back them through everything, even though they have been mid for the last year. Just blindly back them. They won Chelsea a Champions League. It had nothing to do with Tuchel coming in. Prefer not to speak. Abhinav also says, being an Arsenal fan, I know how Chelsea play, but yesterday was not at all Chelsea standard. There's been no one who can create a goal from nowhere since Hazard left. I debate the only one who could do it was probably James, but James is injured too, so there's not much else we could do. What else is everyone saying? Been off most of the squad. Havertz and Mason need to go. Facts. Hey, but you're negative if you say Mount doesn't deserve his bump a new contract. We move. Ruben has to go. Again, Ruben, I don't have too much energy. He's on 150k a week, isn't he? Nah, you know what? Fuck that. Ruben needed to be a lot better too. He was getting dispossessed for fun just like everybody else. I keep forgetting he's not on 60k a week. So I am expecting a lot better from him. He was fucking poor in that first half, just like Mount and Havertz were. Bro, Cucurella is so poor defensively. I don't know if people are going to agree with this, but I thought Cucurella was left massively isolated again, just like in the Brighton game. And I thought the first half, like, he struggled, but I thought he did the best that he could have done next to Saka by himself. Second half, like, it was an absolute car crash. He just got worse and worse as the game progressed. First half, I didn't think he was too bad. Like, he had 20 yards of space near him and the nearest player anytime they hit us on transition. I can't say too much about that. Big up Flawless, my G, every time. Hope you're good, bro. At least 3/4 of the squad ain't good enough to win a Premier League title. Big fucking facts, bro. Declared, saying you're all being too negative. Bro, have your smug flowers. I don't blame you. I do the same thing, man. You were completely correct. And when the link drops, please roll through as well, because I'd love to hear what you have to say. 400 of you lot in here. I'm sure 200 of you are gooners. At least hit the like button. Because we are struggling over here. We haven't even hit 100 likes. So please, hit that like button. Chilwell playing with an injury. I completely don't understand that. Even him playing the full 90 is so stupid in spite of all that, because we saw the pictures. I don't get why he was playing that long with an injury, and that's stupid from Potter. Because I'm not saying Chilwell's injury prone. I don't think he's injury prone. I think he's just been managed poorly. Like, you can't account for that freak Rabiot injury last year. And this year, there's been way too many fixtures for him to play in anyway. That's why I've never had too much energy for Chilwell this season. Because I don't think we're managing him well enough. This is just another L on Potter's behalf. I'm not Potter out. I believe you can criticize and praise wherever you want to, without that meaning you want the player in or you want the player out. But that's an L from him. That is a big L. After yesterday's game, I can confidently say, give my idol Mason Milner a PSG Mbappe style. Bro, you still haven't spoken about Havertz. When he scored against Salzburg, you were in my stream immediately at full time telling me to hold that. So please, tell me your thoughts on Kai Havertz, my friend. I would love to hear it. Please. Cams, big up yourself. Flawless, you already fucking know. This is like you and the Oli or Ronaldo situation. He doesn't need to be dropped next game. Playing for the full 90 against City so I don't see his bum ass at St. James's Park. Bro, let's be real. We spent 40 million on Sterling and gave him 300k and he's moving like Cho. Can't beat his man. I am getting very, very fucking frustrated with Sterling. Same way with everybody else. I do believe us playing him deeper isn't getting the best out of him, but same way, as the bare minimum, be able to take players on. Don't freeze when you're in a good position, like I've seen you do so many times. Like, this version of Sterling isn't good enough. And Pulisic should have been on 20, 30 minutes before he came on. You could have taken Sterling off at halftime, personally. It's not been good enough. And I've been saying Sterling should be benched for a while now, so you can't say I'm blindly defending him. I just will say the same thing I say for all new signings. I will give him the first season, but these performances aren't good enough and they need to improve. They have to improve because it isn't good enough. I agree. Completely agree. Lewis was confident too. Bro, I said we were beating Arsenal for no logical reason at all. I said I wasn't applying logic to it. I just wanted us to. So, you could say I was confident. I more wanted to speak confidence. I was not confident at all. Opinion on Aubameyang liking the troops, but I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. I get Troops and Aubameyang are boys. I'm never going to speak about their relationship. What you want to do off the pitch is whatever you want to do off the pitch. But seriously, like, it's not even an hour after the game and you're liking posts, taking the piss out of us as a team. Like, seriously, I know Aubameyang isn't a serious guy like that, but please use your brain sometimes. Like, what the fuck? That was so stupid. I hope someone tells me it was fake as well, because that was really dumb. We're going to talk about Graham Pulis playing Burnley ball at home against Arsenal, or we still running PR. Bro, I was saying in my streams, in the previews, I wanted us to drop back. I wanted us to give Arsenal more of the ball, because it probably would have been worse if we tried to give them a game. Did you not see how we started playing even worse after we scored, because we started going further forward? I don't blame Pulis for setting up. Pulis, you fucking got me there. I don't blame Potter for setting up that way. I wanted to see us set up like that. The problem is more that we just keep giving the same bums chances. If Havertz made that easy cutback, it's 1-0. It's a different game. Simple as. Potter, like, I've got more energy for the players than I have for Potter. And Potter still could have done things better. Subs could have been a lot earlier. Could have taken Mount and Havertz off at halftime. Could have taken him and Ruben off at halftime, in all honesty. But the players were the bigger issue for me. Yeah, I can unblock. It just takes ages. I've got a lot of people blocked, so I can't be bothered for it. Can't be bothered. You must be trolling. You must be trolling. So I'm not even going to say too much about that. How long do you have to give? You don't have to give Kai any time. Like, until he gives me consistent performances, I am done with his ass, and I've been done with his ass. You don't have to give anyone time. I'm not. Oh shit, there's another super chat. Let me just save these, and then I'm gonna try go back up, because fuck me, there are so many comments. Shit. Alright, big up everyone locked in. Give me a little bit of time. I'm gonna try and go through everybody's comments. What else we got? Chris Skill says no more talk about signing attackers, need midfielders. We need both. These attackers are still shit. But we need midfielders first. True Blue says, where is the heart? World Cup can't come sooner for us. Yeah, but then we got to come back. And we got City like a week after we come back. So it ain't going to get any better. No heart, no passion, no vision, no intensity, no integrity, no dignity. We have nothing at this football club. Big Ram says, starting Loftus-Cheek and sitting back was horrible on Potter's end. I'm not Potter out, but that was bad. Havertz needs to leave and learn to square a ball. Useless. We need January ASAP. Big facts. I do agree now you've mentioned it. Maybe if we were going to play that way, maybe we should have had Zakaria start instead. I wasn't against it. I just didn't think it was realistic that Potter would do it. But in hindsight, might have been the better decision. But like, I'm not going to get to Potter too much for that either, because I wasn't even calling for it. I just wanted to see us sit deep. I never really spoke too much about who I wanted to see in the midfield. Well, he's shit. That's why. He's fucking shit. Time for what, man? We're 7th, and you're talking to me about time. What are we doing? Man said Potter out. No, Havertz out. How about that? Kai Havertz out. Yeah, Charlie, big up yourself, my guy. You deserve that. You can change the Avi though. Fucking hell, man. What else is everybody saying? Why does no? Everyone talks about us needing a DM. We've spoken about that all the time, all the fucking time. Why is our stadium so... Bro, no. I need to go onto the share screen for this. The amount of pictures I saw from Arsenal fans sitting in our end It was fucking embarrassing. What? Let me get this up, because we are like, our atmosphere was probably one of the best I saw this season, and it was so shit. And then I'm seeing tweets like this. You got Arsenal fans taking the piss that they're sitting in our fucking home end. Now, let me see if it pops up on the screen. There we go. First, you got this one. Then you got another one. You got another one. This was after Arsenal scored, by the way. And then you got another one. Wait until you see it. Wait till you see it. We are a fucking embarrassment. Even off the pitch. Off the fucking... You've got gooners all over our ground laughing at us. Is this what has become of my football club? We're getting the piss taken out of us in the dugout. In the fucking stands, we've got opposition fans everywhere. You got bozos in our fan base saying to give shit players time. Graham Potter, like, I like him, but him saying the players gave it their all is literally the last fucking thing I want to hear after we've been embarrassed and literally bopped off the park by Arsenal. It's a joke. From top to bottom, we're a fucking joke, man. We're a joke. Yeah, I am going to come to Dortmund, so I might as well go visit Signal and Duna. I've heard it's a brilliant atmosphere over there, so I will be going to that. Hopefully it's not our last round in the Champions League, but we will see. Get the lights up, people. Get the lights up. What are you waffling about? About me protecting Mount? Like, I literally haven't gunned him down all season. Why are you waffling? Like, big up yourself. You're always on my streams, but you're chatting shit. I don't protect Mount. That's literally bollocks. I said you still owe me that. Who's that? I don't know, but big up yourself. Big up. 10 minutes behind on the fucking super chat. Bro, I hate losing to these shadow-dwelling, fucking European trophy-dodging, rapist-supporting bastards. And it's 3 years in a row that we've lost at home. 3 fucking years. And people expect me to be fucking calm about it. I don't care if we're 20th. I will never accept a loss to these fuckers. Never. Bro, Aubameyang was not the problem. If a fucking bozo 10s could find him, maybe he would have scored. Aubameyang was not the problem. Rigo, Johnny won't come onto the channel. He wouldn't. He just wouldn't. He wouldn't. I hope I see him pop up in the comments, but we'll see. Farzid said, I'm giving this season the 15-16 treatment. Pack it up. Big fucking facts. Let me refresh again because there's another fuck ton of super chats. I'm really trying to go through as many comments as possible, but I have to give the super chats priority. So if you guys want your comments to get read out, drop a little super chat. Cool. I think that's everything saved. Let me just go back up quick. All right, cool. What else is everyone saying? Daniel, big up yourself, saying, had enough of being positive. These players don't deserve it. At least start Zakaria and Broja at least until after the World Cup. Big facts. Why do people think that just because we're Chelsea fans, we have to blindly back them when they disappoint this shirt? Every single week, they're an embarrassment and our club goes down in terms of how other fans fear us. And people expect me to sit here and blindly back them while they drag my club into the mud. Fuck that. Show me consistent performances. Not this try hard, I'm going to have the highest distance covered per game, but I ain't going to do fucking anything. I'm not here for Roadrunner FC. I'm here for ability. Fucking ability. Until, like I said on my fan cam, until these players have respect for the shirt that they're playing for, do not ask me to respect them. Because I'm not doing it. These players are overpaid, overpriced, overhyped, and majorly privileged to be in the position that they're going to be in. I'm not going to make excuses for them. This is a job. This is a job, and your job is to entertain. Entertain the fans. If you cannot be entertaining, do not expect me to sit here and blindly back you. I'm not doing it. Fix the fuck up or fuck off. Simple as that. Prez, what are you saying? That loss to Brentford under Tuchel last year broke me. Haven't felt the same love. The only thing that excites me now is players will be back by Dortmund. Yeah, I mean, maybe second half of the season, Havertz will kick in by then. We can get that nice little February to March purple patch. We might be a bit better off as a result of it. Kevin Tang says, Lewis, I think we should finish 7th this season. We haven't won the Europa Conference League yet. The only trophy we're missing. Bro, fucking hell. Europa League football is painful enough to try and sit through, let alone fucking Conference League football. God forbid. God for fucking bid. I'm good. Josh, you're on the Graham Pulis bandwagon too. Fucking hell, man. Can't be arsed. I haven't seen that, and I also don't know if I'd want to see that. I said Zalt Sicario all along. We had nothing to lose. Hindsight, you were correct. And that's fair enough. 3 seasons, yeah, but we still have to give him time. What else is everyone saying? I fucking bet you are, bro. Can't be asked. Atmosphere was dead. Yep, fucking terrible. Let me keep going, because there's a lot of just reactions to stuff I said 5 minutes ago. Too many tourists and Arsenal fans. Yep. East Stand looks like a fucking joke after every game. And Westview is literally just made for tourists, but we move. I've got nothing against tourists being around. Like, that's fine. I've got nothing against that. It's just, fucking hell, at least try and, I guess, lower the price for some tickets so we can get fans more likely to chant. Well, I don't know. How do you work on improving the atmosphere? Maybe get a singing section in or some shit. Now, I won't say anything about tourists. Like, you can come round, visit the bridge whenever you want. Like, I'll never have an issue with that. Just when you're giving tickets to rival fans. Like, fix the fuck up, man. Come on. Yes, bro, everyone except Silva, Chalobah, and Jorginho can hold it today. Maybe Aspi are let off, because I thought Aspi was going to get absolutely torn apart by Martinelli. And he did better than I thought he would. Like, I still don't think he was great, but I expected Bale v. Maicon level battering, and we didn't get that. He did a lot better than I thought. Let's keep going. Tell me, bro, Klasrev is still working for Christopher's scouting team at Salzburg. Hopefully he told him to scout Havertz or Mount. That would be nice. Give Havertz and the step overs to Dortmund in the round of 16. Let him stay there. Yo, just leave him there. Give him as like a parting gift to Dortmund. We haven't played you guys yet. We've never played you in the Champions League. Here's a welcoming gift. You can have a silky German or a meaty German, whatever you want to call him. Lewis is right. The only thing that saved Mount last season was exactly that. That's why last season I was always calling Mount the best of a bad bunch, because that's all he was, the best of a shit bunch. Now he's not even getting GNA, just as bad as they are. Levi's saying London is red, your fan base is blue, Tottenham is shite, and so are you. Go fuck yourself, bruv, innit? I know you're watching the stream and you're laughing into your phone. Go fuck yourself, prick. That's my guy, though, so no one else slander him in the comments, but still, fuck you. A few more super chats. I'm going to get to that. Where are they? Jack Malloy says it's humiliating that our best player is a 38-year-old centre-back. Facts. We need a serious rebuild. I would get rid of most of that squad. Give Potter time. Exactly. Imagine people are saying it was mad for me to say we might not make top 4 when we don't 100% trust either of our goalkeepers. Our defense hasn't got an understanding of each other. Our midfield has fuck all creativity. Our 10s have fuck all creativity. Our midfield also gets battered in transition everywhere we go. And our attack doesn't get given anything to finish. But yeah, I'm deluded for saying we probably won't make top 4. Figure that one out. Strasbourg Steve says, question for the Potter out people. What would that actually fix? That is a very, very good question. I will ask that to a few of my panelists when they come in, because I don't know what it would fix. The same problems that we see under Tuchel are the same problems we see under Potter. And Potter was always going to be one of the players I would have been happy for Tuchel to be replaced with, because he was a great manager at Brighton. He's had a clear path of progression. And even though the job might be a bit too big for him now, I do think give him time to build the squad in his image, we would look much better and much more fluid as a result. So I don't get what getting rid of Potter changes. I don't think it changes a thing. Yeah, bro, I saw that. I saw that. I ain't gonna say too much about it. Are you surprised he said that? Are you really surprised? I'm not. His GNA wasn't even great last year. I'm supposed to celebrate 12 league goals, 70 against Norwich. I get that. It's just we were in the trenches that season, and it looked good, but he ain't doing it now. He ain't doing it now. What about your manager Potter playing Voldemort ball? Bro, I said I wanted us to sit back. If we had got that cut back in earlier from Kai Havertz and we were 1-0 up, maybe it would have been a stroke of genius. The problem is, our 10s are shit, and they kept giving away possession. We could have been a lot better in transition if our midfield could string 2 or 3 passes together. I don't think the setup was the problem. I said personally I wanted us to sit back. So I'm not getting at Potter for that. You can get him for starting Ruben or the subs, and that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Arsenal got a lucky goal. That's all I give them. No! I fucking hate saying it, but they dominated us for 90 minutes. Like, after we scored and we tried pushing forward, they looked even more likely to score again. We got battered from every side of the pitch. Every side of the pitch. And it should have been more than 1-0. We were very lucky that it even ended that way. So, I don't understand that personally. Not gonna lie, yesterday showed that Mendy's distribution is a bigger issue than people think. Yeah, big facts. Mendy still looked shaky as fuck, even if Arsenal barely tested him before the goal. His distribution is fucking awful, man. It's so bad. And he's gonna start the Newcastle game, isn't he? For fuck's sakes. Fuck's sakes. There was another super chat here. Let me just find it. The problem is he's still playing like Tuchel. Let's at least see Potter ball, not Tuchel 2.0. But if we played a more expansive style of play in that game, we're losing by more goals. So I don't understand that. And we play a bit quicker when we play other teams. Arsenal, I expected us to play that way, and I'm not surprised we look slower as a result. But the problem to me was still the midfield couldn't string passes together, which meant that we could never transition. That was our problem. And when we did, our 10s are just idiots. Rigo Park says even Pep couldn't fix this lot of rubbish. Big facts. Pep would get rid of half of these lot. Strasbourg C says, I'm yet to find anyone in the comments answering my question. What will sacking Potter fix? Brainwash morons just chanting a slogan. Guys, in the comment section, that's to you, people. What would you like to say about Potter out? And please explain what it would change. I'll see if anyone in the comments saying it. Playing Mount, Havertz, Sterling, and Aspi is a fireable offence. Fair enough. Pulisic, you gotta start him at the next game at this point. But like, what more does he have to fucking do? Brozier at this point, I'd give him a run out. Mount, get his ass off for Gallagher. Aspi, because we were playing 4 at the back, I get. But I wanted 5 at the back with Loftus-Cheek at right wing back. So, can't say too much. Big Ram says, drop Mount for Gallagher. Drop Havertz for Pulisic. Oh, we just basically said the same thing. Fair enough. And plays Zakari in the midfield to free up Kova and Jorginho. Surely can't be any worse. Surely can't. I think I agree with everything you said in there. Zakaria goes in for Ruben. You can put him at wing back if you want to do that. Yeah, Mount for Gallagher. Gallagher's literally been more consistent this season. And yeah, Havertz or Pulisic or Broja or anybody. Or no, in fact, Sterling for Pulisic and Havertz for Broja. That's what I do. For everyone saying I've got Sterling agenda. No, I want him benched just like everybody else. Big up Oscar saying his distributions are right. It's his time on the ball that's shocking. Yeah, but that kind of hinders his distribution too. Like, I get what you're saying. You're saying it's his how his quickness that's the biggest issue. But that feeds into the distribution because then it's rash. So I get what you're saying. Mendy surprisingly played a really good ball. Maybe I don't recall that. We got another super chat. Hey, it's Cameron, I think. Cameron, big up yourself, bro. You won the away kit lottery. So DM me, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you want to DM me on. Send me your address and I'm going to send you over an away kit. So big up yourself, my guy. Saying, I blame Tuchel for the depth he gave us. The real problem is Potter loves the 5. But how can we play missing our fullbacks yet again? January, let's see. What do you mean by the 5? Do you mean Jorginho? Because again, Jorginho was one of our better players. If you're talking about 5 at the back, I don't think we played 5 at the back. I thought we played 4. But again, let me know. Let me know what you're saying. You need to do what Arsenal did, to be honest. Stop worrying about trying to clear players for a profit or break even. Just get rid of all costs and start again. Facts. When people keep telling me we need to try and recoup our value for Kai Havertz, no. We put 72 million for him when the manager didn't ask for him and he's shit. Get rid at whatever price. If we get anything above 30 million, there you go. Who else? Ziyech. Don't know why we were fucking waiting over a price tag for him. Just get rid. Fucking, who else? If a good fee comes in for Ruben, it is what it is. Kante's going for free. Jorginho could be going for free. Aspi, no one's going to come in for him. Any other player. So the same energy applies. What are they arguing about in the comment section? Who's Josh calling a moron? That's mad. Yeah, fuck it. Oh, so everyone's saying Nkunku would be perfect right now. Would he even answer all of our problems, though? I guess he'd be more direct. Be better than Havertz, that's for one. But other than that, I'm not too sure. All right, cool. Unless anyone's saying anything, I might throw the link out because I think I've said everything I need to say. Give me a minute or two though, because I need to switch to my other account. That's just loading. What else is everyone saying? Fans still living in the Roman era. And also, they want the same thing as Tuchel, where they want immediate results. That's why people are getting that Potter, because the first few games haven't been good enough. This team isn't good enough. The personnel is the problem. The same way it always has been. Big up Jack, my friend. Big up yourself, saying, I am very worried for Newcastle. The football they're playing, the form they're in. If we play anything like we did against Newcastle, we are losing 4-0. By the way, 4 lottery tickets for you, my friend. Everyone who has super chatted, I have not forgotten. You're all going into the lottery for however much you've donated. You're going into the lottery for the 3rd kit. So big up, you guys. I'm worried for Newcastle football. Yeah, we're probably getting battered. We are definitely getting battered. Out of the 3 games, City, Arsenal, and Newcastle, that was the one where I'd already written it off as a loss. Going to that fortress in our form, with our bummy players, we ain't winning. We ain't winning shit. We ain't doing a fucking thing. Scott, big facts. Like, I don't get why people are expecting Tuchel to work magic with this. Not Tuchel, Potter to work magic with the squad like Tuchel, when Tuchel couldn't get magic with this squad. We played like shit under Tuchel because our team is shit. If you don't rate Potter, you're expecting a worse manager to do better with this squad? Doesn't make sense. Regardless of what you say, Graham Potter is not our problem. Our problem is the same players who let Tuchel down. It is the same players, which is why I keep saying all you player stands are the problem. Because if you are standing any of these bummy players and their name isn't Thiago Silva or Reece James, you have no standards. You have no standards. Even Jorginho, because I'm such a Jorginho stan and everything, aren't I? If you're even standing him, please have shame. Because nobody is consistent except Silva and Jay. Or Chalobah at this point. You know what? I'd allow you being a Chalobah stan because he's been brilliant this season. But if you're standing fucking Mount, if you're standing Havertz, if you're standing Kante, if you're standing Sterling, if you're standing Aubameyang, even though they've only been here for a few months, if you're fucking standing anybody except the three I've mentioned, have some shame. Because the problem I have with stands is that all they do is they sit there and they focus on the one player over the entire squad. If the player plays poorly, they won't criticize their performances. Instead, they will sit there and they will waffle about how other players let them down, or the whole team was the problem. And that's the reason why this guy looked poor as a result of it. The only player you can make that excuse for is the number 9, because the number 9 relies completely on service given to him by the players behind him. So if he doesn't get that service, not necessarily his fault. Everywhere else further back, you have to be involved heavily in the build-up play. You have to be involved in bringing the ball forward and keeping possession. And they're not doing that. But then it's a big issue with fucking player stands at this club. And if you're standing any of those bums, have some fucking shame. Have some shame. Right, I've got off that tangent. Is there another super chat, or am I good to throw the link out? What else is everybody saying? Priest, fuck off if you think I'm too negative. Duck out my stream. Just everyone saying facts. Big up, you guys. I'm glad I ain't chatting shit. Be a Chelsea stan. Exactly. Be a Chelsea stan. None of these players stan. I get, you were an AC stan back in the day. At least I had the bollocks to tell you when he played like shit. At least. And if you like a player over others and you can admit when they're shit, that's not a stan to me. Like, you can have favorite players. That's fine. I'm not going to get at anybody for having that. It's when you can't look at their deficiencies, when you refuse to look at it. That's when you're a stan, because you just refuse to look at anything negative about them, and all you do is talk about how they're the best player in the squad and all of this bollocks, and they're not. They're not. So yeah, just to be specific, you can have favorite players, but you need to also accept the deficiencies with those players too. How can you honestly not hold Potter to account? The players are a big part of the problem, but you can't convince me Potter has done a good job of setting up the team to win. That's fair enough. I'm not saying you can't criticize him. Like, you can. But when you're saying Potter out after 2 months, that's stupidness. Like, obviously, don't blindly back Potter. He has made mistakes. There's been games where we haven't started well. But I've said I do think we're in the experimental stage of this squad, where he needs to make those sorts of mistakes and figure out what the best squad is for him. Obviously, it's not ideal that we're doing it now, but that's the board's fault for sacking Tuchel this early. And now we're in this position. We have to grit our teeth and bear it. That's why, to me, you can get at Potter, but he's the last problem for me right now. Oh, shit. One last super chat, and then I promise I will send the link out. Sorry, I got a lot of shit I need to go off my chest today. Where's the super chat? Cam, if it's not full afterwards, I'll send the link. But I want to focus on Chelsea today. I don't want to focus on Arsenal. Cameron says send to okay, cool. No worries. Jack Malloy says, I was worried before the season even started. So was I, but I was called negative. Ha! I was worried before the season even started. I was not convinced the club knew what they wanted to do in terms of buying players. We need to back Potter. Short-term pain for long-term gain. I get that, but I thought Koulibaly was a good signing. Fofana was overpriced, but he was a good signing. Same with Cucurella, overpriced, but a good signing. It was more further forward than in midfield that I was very confused about. I think my biggest issue is that we didn't do enough over buying players. I think the players that we brought, like, they're good players. They just need time to bed in. The problem is there was areas that we didn't address. We didn't bring in a creator. We didn't reinforce our midfield at all. And that's where we've held ourselves back, personally. The only other issues are just the same players that are still here, for being totally honest. A lot of people saying Potter out. Rah, it's all mad. Bro, I warned you about Aubameyang. I told you how great Giroud would be. I told you how dead Abba would be. You don't have a Lacazette-type player to give him the freedom that he needs. I get that, but I also can't blame Aubameyang too much because he's not being given clear-cut chances. If Aubameyang had 3 chances on a plate and he fucked them all up, this stream would probably be all about Aubameyang and how he fucked the game up. But he didn't get any of that because our 10s can't feed him the ball, which is why my energy is more towards the 10s because they didn't do their job. Cool. Right, yeah, you know what? It's time for me. Let me put the link up before I get distracted again, because I know what happened. While I'm doing this, as always, like button, subscribe, drop super chats and everything so I don't miss any of you guys' comments. And yeah, let's send the link out and invite some more chaos. Bear with me, people. Bear with Who else? Fucking hell. There's bare people in here already. Why am I not surprised? Right. I think that's everyone off Twitter. Call Insta now. Cameron, after the stream, I'll DM you and we'll sort out the fucking what's it called, shirt and everything. So just bear with me. Once the stream, we'll sort that out. Cool, that's everybody. That is everybody. Is there any super chats in? Nope, we're all good. Right. Oh, wait, there's that one. Right, there's a fucking lot of people in here today. Big up everyone. Oh.
Holy cow.
That is everyone. Mahir says Starkova and Jorginho together will control games.
Starting Kovacic and Jorginho does nothing yesterday.
Yeah.
Would have done nothing for the game yesterday.
No.
It still won't change.
Doesn't make a difference.
Oh,
because guess what? They finished the game together and we still look shit. So
I just can't see us scoring from the open side. The only thing that we can score yesterday is from set pieces.
There's no link. There's absolutely no link in that team between midfield and forwards. There's no link from. Why is that? That's a good question. What do we have?
Creativity. What's the
Mountain
creativity?
Havertz. That's what we have.
like at the end of the day, right? I've got so much to get off my chest.
Havertz wasn't a midfielder.
With this
But
team,
the
with this team and with this fan base. And I'll say right now, like, if any of the fan base that are in this chat take offense with what I say, you're probably part of the problem. Just going to say that now.
Come on now.
No, wait, let him land.
Like, the fan base's perception of where we are and where we need to go is warped. Like, with the manager, with the players, with everything. Like, the fact that I'm seeing Potter out after like 2 months, like, what the fuck are you expecting? Like, on a real, what the fuck are you expecting? Like, I get he has faults, and yeah, I'll call out his faults, but saying Potter out after 2 months when some of these players are still the same garbage players that let Tuchel down, they're still the same garbage players that let Lampard down through the Lampard. They're still some of them are still the same garbage players that were here under Sarri and Conte. But like, are meant to believe that Potter's part of the problem now. He's like fifth manager under some of these players, and we're still garbage.
But here's the thing, though. Scott.
Let him learn.
I just gotta finish this point. I can't stay too long. I just gotta say this. It's not so much about Potter out. Like most of the people that are Potter out didn't want it to begin with. They wanted to keep Tuchel. So that's the problem. It's not so much Potter out because they weren't in agreement with the fact that Tuchel should have been let go based on what they've seen so far. So that's where a lot of the problem is.
Exactly.
And for me, it's not. I'm not Potter out. I think
nobody's Potter out. I don't think, but. Let's Scott say his agenda.
There are Potter out people, but that's because they're clowns, as I said, and they're part of the problem. Like, if you have an issue with Potter being in charge, blame the dude above him because he's the one that sacked your beloved Tuchel and hired this dude. Like, this guy came in with a project in mind. That's why he's getting people in like Shields. He brought the guy in from Brighton who's been key at recruitment. He's looking at people like Edwards. He's looked at people like Campos. That's the reason he's doing this, is because he's looking for a project. He's not after this Roman era of, it doesn't work in 2 months, I'll sack this man, get this other man in, and we just win the league like that. No, that doesn't work anymore. This is why people
did. He got the club in 2 months. He fired Tuchel. He did. So
in terms of his idea is not the reason he sacks Tuchel is because he didn't see him as a project manager. Regardless of whether I agree with that or not, he did not see him as a project manager. Which at the end of the day is how you win things now. This is a system game. It's a project game. It's not we're just going to change something now, especially in this league. Scott, it's not we're going to change something now, Scott, and in 2 months we're going to see a complete change and we're going to go on to win the league.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think previous regime ever hired the manager saying, like, I will fire you in 2 years? Was that the intent from the beginning?
The intent was to hire someone and to win straight away. That does not work now.
But do you understand what my question is?
Yeah, no one hired to get fired. No, obviously not.
So,
but things,
if the intent is not there, you cannot say that that's the plan was. Like, I understand what you're trying to say, but we're not. When we criticize, first of all, I'm not what's his name, Potter out yet, but the red flags are there. And the same thing of what I did with Lampard, and I'm gonna be honest. I don't care what you said. After 2 months of people saying out, it's their opinion. It's their opinion.
Like I said,
what I'm saying is tactically. And when I was on this same stream, we've declared getting slammed by all of you fuckers after we won F3-0 AC Milan. And I said, I do not see any changes. That was the same problems. We did not play good. We did not. And people were like, oh, why are you so negative after 3-0 win? Imagine. Because I saw nothing. I didn't see nothing that he put. And when I saw him coming, I knew exactly what kind of manager. He's exactly the same as Tuchel. He's not consistent on his first 11. He was under in Brighton. He was changing formation all the time. People asking for his consistency on the players when he actually does not play same players all the time. So how can you ask for players to be playing consistently when they do not play consistently with each other game after game? I'm not saying those are freaking brainless pricks, because they are freaking worthless shit. I agree with you, with all of you, but they are not that bad.
Yes,
they're not that bad.
They are. They are.
No, I'm saying they're not that bad that they cannot put two passes together.
I was going to say they're worse. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Potter literally set the team up yesterday. Let's just take yesterday's game in a bubble.
Look, Scott, let me finish before you. Let me finish so you can understand my point. I'm saying very bad players, but I don't see that bad of a players cannot make the passes together. That bad.
Yeah, but the problem for me is not the ability to make those. If we don't have time on the ball, we don't have people that think the game quick. We don't have guys that can move quick. We don't have. It's pace.
Because it's the system
overall
that provides them from
of the
that.
Team. No, man. Like if you,
it's not the system.
It's our players, man. They don't play with pace. Like guys cannot work with pace.
I've seen it.
There was the reporter that asked Harry Potter. Players on the field look like they did not know what they were doing, and I swear, man, that what's his name? That whatever correspondent or whoever, he's just brilliant, brave by asking this question. And when he literally asked him in the face, your players did not look like they know what they're doing on the field.
I mean, even if they didn't, it's 2 months in. This is
how long was that hug there? How long was Tuchel there?
He got his. I'm sorry. Do people not fucking understand this, right? Because it's pissing me off. When it comes to Ten Hag, who are his best players right now? Martinez, who he fucking bought. Casemiro, who he fucking bought. Anthony has made a difference.
He did not play Casemiro first couple of games until he figured it out.
He's had the ability to buy the players that are going to affect the team. Potter has not. At the very fucking least, give him till January. At least.
Nobody's saying nothing.
No one's Potter out.
Nobody's saying Potter out.
Yeah, but you still have to show that you can work with what we have. I'm sorry,
we've seen something different because he's brought players in that can affect his system in a positive way.
Okay, how Thomas Tuchel changed in a matter of minutes, of a month.
Exactly.
How Thomas Tuchel changed the system and changed up team in a matter of the month. We did not play pretty in the Premier League, but we are not that disorganized.
He set up a defense is what he did. First and foremost, made us tough to beat. And that's the problem. I'm not seeing that.
Okay. Let me say this.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Did anything change?
No.
Potter's doing the same thing Tuchel changed.
No,
so why are we playing worse than what Tuchel did?
What? Hold on. You just said that what he's Potter's done the same thing that Tuchel's done?
No. Potter hasn't even implemented the way he wants to play. He's still keeping the same structure.
We're too easy to beat, man. We played through so easily, man. That's the problem.
Of course. And I'm gonna fucking start
because he's
bringing up because you guys have flip-flopped. You guys talked about how bad Tuchel's system and everything was, and you wanted him out. Everyone was happy.
You never heard that from me.
This is at the chat. This is most people that have been on the panel, right? Everyone was happy, right? Majority of people wanted to see a change. Sideway passes. They said all this stuff. I got grilled, right, for not liking the way Tuchel got sacked. There's a lot of managers down the line I wasn't happy about how they got sacked, right? And I'm still going to be here, and I'm not going to be how Potter's going to get sacked, right? Because if there was no World Cup, there will be more Potter out by the end of the month than everyone's seeing now. It'll be everyone will be Potter out. If the way we're playing, by the end of the month, if there was no World Cup, everyone will be Potter out. And I'm here saying you have to give Potter.
No, hold on.
Listen, Potter's. You have to understand. Potter. We don't even know. I'm not even sure how Potter wants to play. I feel like Potter's come in.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what's the system? Please tell me.
Yeah, I don't even think he's confident to play the way he wants to play. He's going how Tuchel structured the whole team.
Yeah, but declared.
He reminds me of AVD actually.
Let him land.
Let me finish.
I beg. Let him finish.
Look, we haven't seen how Potter wants to play, right? We haven't seen some of the players because we are in the same problem with Reece James Chilwell injured, and we thought Cucurella was going to fix that problem, right? And Loftus-Cheek, and he's putting Sterling there. Maybe he's playing him like a winger, maybe not. We're still in the same. We're playing the same structure with the same problems. He hasn't figured it out. He's a younger manager too. He's been unproven, but there's also players that are leaving. You want all these players out? Yeah, let him get him out. He's signed a 5-year contract. None of this, bro. This fan base has not seen a process. This fan base has. You know what? I've never bagged Arsenal on the process because I've seen teams come and go up and down throughout my whole time of watching football and understanding how teams come about. Right? 2 months in, everyone wants him out. What was wrong with Tuchel staying for a process? But people wanted him out.
But Tuchel wasn't a process guy.
Wait, hold on a second.
What's the process?
Wait. I'll go through super chats.
By the way, one of the guys a brilliant super chat.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll get to that. Devendra says we need players with mentality over skill. We need both. We need both, my friend. Cameron says Potter isn't the problem. We have no depth from Tuchel. We are missing crucial players yet again in James and Chilwell, and have too many attackers, players that need to be shifted and don't create. I get we have the issue with the injuries, but it doesn't change the fact that the players that we still have are still the consistent problem. So we can't just make the excuse of injuries, my friend. Rigo Park says, when was the last time this team played consistently well, played world-class football? Around the time after we won the Champions League. How did we win the Champions League? Kai Havertz and Mason Mount. They single-handedly won it for us. David says, under Tuchel, we had good build-up and passing out from the press. This is concerning because we had nothing against Arsenal. Before we would dominate the ball, but we struggled to create chances. Now nothing. But I feel like that's what happens when you have a new manager and you go straight back to step one. We're starting completely fresh. So I understand that. One more super.
We also lost last season.
One more. Paul Jr. says Lukaku, with all the drama, politics, injury, and Werner, plus Mount as a winger, got 15 goals, while Aubameyang got 1 goal so far.
Damn.
Same service. What's the point you're trying to make with that?
It's the fan base, man.
Lukaku got all of those in all comps across the whole season. Aubameyang's on 2 months. Again, this fan base with their immediacy, this need everything to be all of the time, everything. Also on this, you guys do realize the game plan in the first half was to be more defensive, more to go direct, and it wouldn't work if these dumbass attackers could make a simple pass.
It would have worked
if Havertz is able to make a simple cutback.
I can finish that easily, bro.
That's the thing. The reason in the second half we had to come out at it. In the reason in the second half you had Kovacic and Gallagher, and we had to go at them.
Oh my days! Ugh.
The reason we had to go at them in the second half is because we conceded. So at that point, you need to go at them. But Arsenal are a good side defensively. I say what you want about them, they're a good side defensively. So they could soak up that pressure. They've got no need to attack. And they can hit us on the counter-attack if they need to anyway. This is the thing.
And to add to that,
that's what I don't understand, right? That's what I don't understand. We change up our system, right, for a game. So most of the time under Potter, we've seen that we want to have the ball, we want to be on the front foot. We change it up in a half. People are still moaning that the system's still the same, despite the fact we changed it, because these players are just shit. They can't seem to understand how
not that bad, Scott.
They're fucking garbage.
We are for where we want to be.
Believe me, they're not winning the title. I get that. But
Here's
still get top 4.
We are not good enough. We are not good enough. I said it at the beginning.
Not good enough for what? Not good enough for what?
We're not good enough for what we expect them to be. So, i.e., top 4. We are not good enough for that.
They're not good enough for Chelsea standards.
We're not. No. We are not.
Were you that confident we're not getting top 4 before this season?
I swear to God Almighty that made me.
No. Deals. Put your chest on. Were you the one that said that we're not getting?
I said, I asked the question, guys, let's be realistic. I took Thomas Tuchel's statement as gospel. I said to myself, this same players, same results. I said to guys, let's be realistic this year. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be a slow burnout. We haven't got the players we want to get them in time in comparison to our competitors, in comparison to our Tottenhams, Arsenal's, Man City's. We are, no, let me land, let me finish.
We're better than Tottenham, bro, relax.
For the season. No, in terms of preparation, we are not prepared as much as they did. So the truth is in the pudding right now. We're preparing to fail, and this is where it is. So it's fine, because I do believe we are going to come back. But I do understand we're going to have a teething process. That could take a year, it take 2 years. But I know we're going to get there. So I asked the question, are we ready to relax our expectations?
That's the question we have to ask.
Go through a roller.
Are we ready to have
people?
I don't think we're ready.
Are we ready to have an Arsenal? Are we ready to have an Arsenal where for 4 years we maybe don't win anything or we win an FA Cup? But come the 4th year, we're challenging for the
don't say that, Scott.
They ain't challenging for shit, man.
Let him finish.
Let me land. Man said to me, "Raw, we are Chelsea. I do not lower my expectations. We do not do." I said, "What God-given right do we have? Like, if man are competing, if man are preparing for the season, and we are not, what God-given right do we have?" Manchester United have won billions of titles over the past how many years, bro? Look at them now. If they're not preparing like Man City, Liverpool, now, they do not deserve to be there. Like us, we didn't prepare this season yet, guys. We didn't prepare this season enough, and it's calm. It is what it is. We had sanctions. A new owner coming. He changed the dynamics ASAP. Peter Cech went. Marina went. Those people to negotiate players to come in. We were all over the place. What were we expecting? It is what it is. And it's fine. But I understand the critique. But we have to take a reality pill. we are not there, and we have to understand it. It's fine because I understand that. Obviously, your Arsenal brethren, your United brethren are going to get onto you. They're going to make you feel like shit. It's fine, but trust me, we got pride, bro. And I believe with the backing of the new owners, we're calm. That's not a problem.
And the thing is,
trust the process, guys. Trust
it. Don't even have to be right. I know it's Arsenal.
He
don't
said
even
it.
have to be an Arsenal where you go
He
4
fucking
years.
said it. Trust the process.
Yeah, see, it's people who have too much pride to say that, but we do need to go through a process. Why are people so prideful?
But I also think the balance is off too, because
it's not prideful.
It's delusion for me.
Put
Like my question. Hold up, my question.
Arsenal just put a bad taste on that. That's why it's not pride.
Yeah, so why are we so like scared of using that?
I don't know.
Look
I've
at where
said
they
it
are
before.
now.
I've said it before. Arsenal done it, so for me it was normal.
Who cares? I really don't care. Like we need to go through it.
Exactly.
My question is,
it was more about the trigger question. Is about more about the Arsenal saying the trust the process with Arteta. That's the reason I said it. What I'm saying is, of course, it's going to be a process, no matter how it is, but no matter what manager is, especially with the new owners. I'm just saying, the process does not have to be to get 15 in the league to try to climb up.
Oh yeah, we don't have to go that far down to go that far.
I don't think anyone.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Just to say before you go, I think Arsenal started at a much lower point than where Chelsea were, so I don't expect that level of a drop-off too. But go on, what are you going to say?
But what I was trying to say is, based on how we played in the past couple of games, since he came in, we do look like 15th in the league team. But I do believe that team are actually better than 15. So make your assumption. I'm not far out because, first of all, no matter what the fuck I say, he's not out. No matter what. But I keep repeating myself. The red flags are there. Did you see him lose? Hold on a second. Did he lose his shit on the sideline yesterday? Yes, he did. No,
little bit. Not a lot.
He did. He got with Arteta. Before that,
he's done that.
He was the quietest one ever in the Premier League.
But he's done that before at Brighton, has he not? He's done that.
No,
before.
He hasn't.
He has. Yes, he has. He said that even in the interview. I've seen it. Every now and then, yeah, he has it.
If you think that helps your point, it makes it worse. Because why does he do it for Brighton and not for us then?
What? What are you talking about? This Brighton, he does it for Brighton.
You said he did it for Brighton. Why didn't he do it in a big game? That's what I'm saying.
But what we doing here is
I don't care about it. But
what I was trying to say is losing his. What I'm trying to say, when he loses his temper, it's the sign of insecurity. When he actually talks to other player, other manager, because when him and Arteta got in the bus stop on the sideline, that's what I'm talking about.
We're not going to take into account the fact that Arteta runs around all annoying.
Yes, exactly. Hold on a second.
I think
we going to bring that, but that's not kind of person that Potter is it? I'm trying to put it not on Arteta, but on Potter, how Potter behaves when he usually. And when you see such a quiet guy losing his temper, it means that pressure gets to him. Then my other red flag is because it's not me. Come on, it's not me. If it was just me asking for the statistics and stuff like that, you will see another thing. What's his name? Correspondents will not ask him questions. Your team looks like they don't know what they're doing.
Okay, my question here though is, you guys can see the red flags. Everyone sees the red flags. Whether hold up. Whether we hold up. Sorry, Chavi, hold up. Yeah, whether you're Potter in, completely backing him all the way, or you're still on the fence, we all see the red flags. But my question is, why are we focusing so much on the red flags? There are always going to be red flags from the very beginning. This is how this works. You're not going to have a perfect performance, a perfect changeover months in. I'm not assessing anything deeply until 12 months down the road. Then I'm going to come back and start looking at what he's done with his team. But right now, you're wasting your time. You can critique him. Alex, hold up.
Too many red flags. Every manager deserves at least 1 year, Alex. 1 year is minimum for every new manager.
No, that's not what I'm saying. The red flags on the manager.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Who would you say? Can I ask a question? Who would you say is the best manager in the world right now?
My grandma. Who gives a shit?
Who's the best manager in the world right now? Is it would you say it's Pep?
No,
probably.
Most
Pep
people
has
say
red
that.
flags.
I don't care what Pep
He's
is.
massively experimental at the wrong points. That's why, have you noticed, hasn't won the Champions League yet with City.
That's the reason why
I don't think you understand the context here.
That's the reason why I don't rate Pep. Because Pep comes in the team, he completely gets
I'll
the team
explain the red
out
flags that
and
Alex
gets
is
the new
saying too.
team in. That's why I don't respect Pep. Pep do not adjust ever.
Hey, Paul, I don't give a shit if you respect Pep. To me, he's the best manager in the world, and he still has red flags. Klopp still has red flags. Ancelotti has red flags. Mourinho has red flags.
Let me explain what is the red flag.
Give the Claire the shout.
I'll explain what the red flags are. Potter hasn't done it before. Potter hasn't made a big team before. So when you start to see these type of, oh, why didn't he do this? And you start questioning him, the more you question, the more red flags you have, because we've never seen Potter do it. If you're going to say Brighton example, Brighton, where's Brighton? Potter has not built a big team before, right? And challenged for titles. He has not done it. So when you start to see something, just like you saw in Lampard do it, we didn't see Lampard do anything, right? And when Lampard got 4, everyone got gassed up. But then later on, you start seeing some red flags because you've never seen this manager do it before. That's what red flags are, right? Not that you give, oh, let's wait till 12 months because we haven't seen it before. But if you got a top manager, if you got Ancelotti in who you've seen a whole history of doing it, you're going to have that confidence. Just give him time. Give him 12 months, you'll see. And even if you saw bad performances, you don't have red flags. But Potter has not done it before. That's why it's called red flags. Just so you understand.
Ancelotti, a non-project manager.
Quick point.
Alex, what is a project manager, bro? What are you saying? You're not talking about running a corporation here. Every manager can build a team.
How low do you expect? The reason the questions you can ask clicks.
That goes to show what you know.
Where you comment clicks? I'm looking at the really good clicks.
Give
Potter his own players. Hold on. This is what clicks wrote. Give Potter his own players for a season or two, then talk. This is exactly what I'm saying. Like, how low do Chelsea fans expect to go to then potentially in 2 years? Potentially, you remember the one quick potentially. You have to bet a lot on one in 2 years to do it. Is every project 2 years can work or not? That's number one. How low do you expect your team to go to get potential? That's the big question.
Well, we have to be ready to do it because we're never going to move forward. How many years have we been trying the same thing?
I've got to go through these super chats. Paul says, sorry about Aubameyang having 1 goal in the Premier League so far. That can't purely be a service issue. He's trash worse than look. It literally is a service.
That's a service issue, dumbass.
Barely been given any service. If he had chances that he was missing, we'd have stuff that we could go back and say he should have done better. All I have is the Salzburg game. Other than that, I can't blame him for anything. Salzburg, he definitely should have scored. Dami says Tuchel had Kante fit for the Champions League success. Rudiger, James, and Chilwell were fit too. Give Potter a chance. Yeah, I agree with the part being.
Nobody wants.
I think people are taking it out of context about Potter. We're just questioning about certain stuff we're seeing.
Exactly.
And it's fair to question him completely.
Just go on faster.
Let me read it.
Because we're still think that we are the Chelsea of 15 years ago. Like we have to
15 years ago.
Big facts. Let me go through the rest of this. David says trust the process, but after this process we'll definitely win. The players are bad, but got third and scored the 4th most goals in Europe last year. Team is not great, but most are not that bad. Bro, our top goal scorer in the league had 11 goals. Our highest goal scorer in all competitions had 15 goals. The reason why we had the 4th most goals in Europe was because we spread it out throughout the entire team. Every season, we have the most goal scorers in the Premier League. Why is that? Because we don't have one consistent goal scorer. So I can't hear those stats. We got third because Arsenal are bottle jobs and Spurs were on flight mode for 3 months when Nuno was in charge. You need to use context into account for all these situations. No one also says...
Lewis, we've long been depending on others to make the CL. That's the problem.
Exactly, and now they've all strengthened, and we've gone backwards. But
the season before last, we had to rely on Tottenham
I'm ready to take
or
one step
Leicester
back.
to
That,
beat.
Yeah, but the last season we didn't.
I'm ready for that shit, bro. Short-term pain, long-term
yeah,
gain.
but we're
100%. I'll take that.
still a huge gap between us and the people above us, Alex.
Yeah, but this is how you can actually build. You have to build. When you build when I'm hearing trust the process, I mean the process from you not when you fight for top 4 to win in the Premier League. That's the process. I'm not talking about.
No,
I don't
Alex.
want process. What's
Alex.
I don't want
Let
process.
Alex finish.
I do not want process. First of all, Chelsea is not that bad as a team to go to the process of 15 for 2 or 3 years to be outside the top 4.
Exactly.
We don't have big stadium to make that kind of money.
No one said
slipped
15.
out quickly.
Alex, you're the one who said 15.
Yeah, we're not
the whole point.
15,
my idea. Can I just say
Mark my words, if we're playing like this, we're gonna be 15.
Yeah, if we're playing like this, I don't see it.
Can I just say,
I give ourselves top 7, 8.
Can I just say,
already top 7, 8. You the one that said we're getting top 4 before the season.
No. I ruled us out of where we want us to be, and that's fine. But I understand it's going to be a rocky season. It's top 7, top 8. Yeah, it could be a possibility. It could be a possibility for 2 seasons in a row. It could be a possibility.
Yeah, 15th is crazy.
If 15th is all the way through,
top 4, guys. Relax.
What I'm trying to say is why I feel confident is that we have good backing, Alex. We have people that will invest in the squad to make sure that we are competing. Depending on if the squad gels together, the owners don't have a say in that. That's down to the manager, and that might take time because squad needs to gel. It may take 2-3 seasons before we get okay. We're here now. And
my question to you: how low you okay to be?
I could take top 10 for 2 seasons in a row, knowing the current squad.
And the chance.
If Kai Havertz is not going,
how much guarantee you giving me that we are going in 2 years?
It might not happen.
It might not, but we have. Yeah, Alex, that's the whole point. We all know it's not a guarantee, but we have to try something.
We might do better than
What's the alternative? Continuing this firing of managers until there's none left, or the only ones you've got left are
said
project
freaking fire manager.
Okay,
Stop saying that.
So, Alex, what is your solution?
What
are you saying?
My solution, the questions needs to be asked of him, like a reporter did. And so he will actually change.
This is where he's going to learn his job.
Look, I'm okay. For example, I'm okay that he doesn't trust the players that he has, and he's afraid that he's not going to get specific position or specific way. But if you don't believe that we have players the way it is, or play system the way you want, just play the system you want. How crappy that system won't be, we're losing game after game, but I will see what system you're trying to imply. Did anybody, please, for the past how many games he had, tell me what he does?
Yeah, I don't even know. I can't see it personally.
So I will be on board. I will be on board with you to wait for 2 years. If you get proper players in that system, we will play better. Please tell me.
Yeah.
Can we get Lewis? Can we talk about?
He hasn't got the
Hold on, bro.
Saying Potter out now.
Nah, we're not. Nobody's saying Potter out, but like stuff like this, stuff like that. Can anybody explain what he's saying? Like these players gave everything on Sunday. Did it look like those players gave everything?
No.
He's defending the players.
No. I didn't agree with that either. I feel like he was trying to back. I feel like he was trying to back the players in the press conference, but he said completely.
Thank you, David, again. Brilliant.
I think he got cut off.
We'll go back onto the press conference things. Let me go through a few of these. No one says, question for the trust to process people. We won 5 Premier Leagues without the process. Why change the path when we can become?
When was the last time we won? When was the last time? Sorry. No, this is different administration. This comes back to the bullshit.
No, this is not a bullshit. This is came from the last time we had a manager that capable of building. No, that manager was capable of building a system. Okay, he had the system, and he applied the system.
Sorry. He had one of the best players that this Premier League has ever fucking seen. He's had one of the best strikers this club has ever seen. He had quality players in their peak, the likes of of Kante and whatnot, and Cahill at their peak. They had players, Courtois at his peak, the second best goalkeeper we've seen, one of the best goalkeepers that has been in this league. He had players at their fucking peak, and we're talking about, oh, he's come in and won something. Bring him into this fucking team then, and see what happens.
Let me just respond to this.
Fucking nonsense. Absolutely.
He can't even do a Harry Kane and Son. He can't even get them firing.
Right. Andrew, go on, then me.
Yeah. Let me just respond to this message. How was the process good for you when we went 4 years without winning a league and 5 years without winning a league? How was that process for you? Because it sucked for me.
It was better than staying in 15 in the league.
It doesn't matter where we end up. We're not winning.
Oh, we're going to be 15 in the league if we playing like this at the end of the
Based
season.
on what? Based on what?
Hang on.
Based on what I said. Based on based on what you're gonna give me 2 years, we're gonna fight for the top 4. Based on what?
I'm going to base it on your theory.
You told me, Scott, trust the process for 2 years.
Alex, let him talk.
Based on what?
Everybody's saying Andrew hasn't even finished his point.
Yeah, I'm just about to say, we've never had a process at Chelsea. It hasn't worked. We've been run poorly. We win cups that paper over the cracks. We go years without winning a league. It started in 2006 when he interfered in bringing in Shevchenko over Mourinho's head. Okay, the reason we don't have a dynasty is because of the previous board. We are not run properly. We are not run properly as a big club. Man City are the best run club one of the best run clubs in Europe. Okay, Alex, you can shake your head, but it's a fact. They took the best of what we.
They based in Europe because they have one of the best managers.
Right,
and they have a process that works.
Yeah, we'll see the process when Pep leaves.
You should fucking brain and go and do some research. I beg.
Same process that Klopp was saying. You told me 2 years ago.
I beg you go and do research, please. Go and do your fucking research on City and what they did before Pep.
Yeah, I don't have time to Google.
They got the director of football of Barcelona. They got scouts in. They got the infrastructure in place with the youth team as well. Pep was the last piece of a puzzle that was clicking.
Yeah.
Because they were still winning titles.
Yeah, from what's his name? What's his name? That Italian manager. What was that manager? Italian manager that was before him? Oh, that Mancini. Yeah, tactics from Mancini to Pep. Yeah, that's the process. Because they play in the same style. You fucking moron.
Right, let me.
But they're doing a process now. Why don't you see that?
Because he doesn't want to. He doesn't fit his argument. He doesn't want to.
Guys.
Bloody hell, man.
Right. Let me answer this, please. Right.
Andrew, I didn't say fire him.
Oh my god. Right. Guys, everyone stop talking. Everybody just stop talking. Control your own voices and no one will talk. Right. No one says question for the trust the process, people. We won 5 Premier Leagues without the process. Why change the path when we come the next Arsenal United? Like Andrew said, why have we never had a dynasty? Why have we never won Premier Leagues more than back-to-back once? It's because we have never consisted with one manager. And also, it's a very, very different battleground as to where it was 10, 15 years ago. And other teams have also basically got better than us. Around the 2004 to 2010 region, there was only one team we needed to be better at, and nobody else was coming closer. It would either be the Arsenal team at that point or the Manchester United side. Now, it's a lot more competitive. Other teams are already growing, they're building their teams, and we are a step behind, which is why we have to at least stick with a manager. We have tried to with the old board. I'm not going to say that they haven't. I will give them that. We have tried to, but for whatever reason, with whatever specific manager, we haven't been able to do it. And that's the reason why we have never had a dynasty. It's why we've been
we do have a dynasty, though.
More of a cup team than we have been a league team. That is why. All right, next super chat. The man just says, what, go on? Let me go.
But listen, people tell me all the time, the Roman era is over. That the Roman dynasty, like Roman won everything. Yeah, we don't. People like to say the manager's name. Roman won everything more than once. Literally every cup more than once, other than the World Club Cup. Literally, like so that kind of counts. And
this is not really a dynasty.
No, it doesn't count at all.
Dynasty's long.
That's under how many managers?
Names brilliant super chat.
Cool, well, we'll get to that. Devendra says these players end up sacking 3 managers. Most of them can't even be starters in the top 6. Facts. Potter is in the same situation as Arteta was. He took 1 year to clear Deadwood. 1 year to bring his players, and now we're witnessing table toppers, which is exactly why I'm saying, can we at least let him bring players in before we judge the guy? Same way with Tuchel, when people were onto him. I was like, give Tuchel the chance to build the team in his image and then judge what that team gets to. David says Chelsea don't have the economic capital to be out of the top 4 for a long time. Forgetting Cuckoo and Liao without top 4.
We do now.
The process cannot be without top 4. Ain't we literally debt free?
Yeah, we do have the.
We do now. We do now.
We would be fast. I think we would be better off with a year without top 4. By the way, we need Champions League to attract all these big players. What have we attracted the last 5 years?
Shit.
Thank you. So it'd be pointless.
Yeah. Do you have a managers? Do you think that manager has a pull when you sign players?
Not always, no.
To a degree.
It's debatable. It all depends on how they sell it.
Okay. Just checking the question.
Yeah, no worries. Right. David says Real Madrid operate like us. How are
it's
they
a big
doing
factor,
that?
is it?
Real Madrid are
look
and
at
they're
this
literally
shit,
fed by the government.
Saying that, like somebody commented saying that Man City did not. You don't trust Man City. Man City had the building a process. What process, you motherfuckers? You spent cash like the rest of us. All the thing you did, you got lucky by hiring Pep. Before that, you didn't have no process. You played the same shit like everybody else. You're not winning consistently. Everybody was closer to you, and now Pep build. That's how you got the freaking couple of matches. And it's easy.
You don't
rate Pep. You don't rate Pep, but apparently you don't rate Pep. But apparently he's the reason why they're winning. But then
what I'm saying is he's the best.
Let's move on. Let's move on because it's all looking a bit twisted and it's all looking a bit contradictory and all that. Let's move on.
Twisted is what is coming out of your mouth.
On two of the super chats that were said.
Shut you. I'm trying to speak. What I'm trying to say is when he's actually when what's his name? When Pep leaves, then I want to see the process. Because they went to the toughest one. I didn't say when I said I didn't rate Pep, it doesn't mean that I don't rate him at all. It means that I rate managers bigger than him, but he's still top manager. When you can put the money, you said to trust the process within 2 years, right? Let's say within 2 years. We do not have to lower our standards. That's my point.
Right. Cool. David says Real Madrid operate like us. How are they doing? No, they don't. It's a completely different club. Nim says process doesn't mean you have to lower your standards. No, keep the standards the same. I agree. I want top 4. I want domestic trophies. But if we don't get it, was the last person I'm getting at, and I'm still giving him next season to make it right. I agree. Don't lower the standards. Keep the standards the same. But you can't. I understand.
That's contradictory, my bro.
I think we all
you can't allow the process to happen and then lower your standards. Your standards will unfortunately have to drop. That's as you accept
the standards are keeping them fine.
Bro, we don't drop your standards of your down, though.
Let Andrew talk, guys. Why do we constantly interrupt people? Andrew.
We're saying this. You can have your standards fine, but you can't apply them to these players because they'll never reach them. They'll never reach them as a collective.
Standards for the club. Yeah.
Standards for the club, fine. But on the pitch, we have to be realistic. As a collective, this group is not good enough to do what we want them to do. And that's be challenging for titles.
What I tried to say based on yesterday's game, I think the standards are dropped because I think with even collective shit that we have at the moment at starting 11, it was worse.
Agreed.
It was worse. That's my big point. Yep. I'm not saying to put her out for a reason because I just want those standards to be level. We do not have to go low as much as we played against Arsenal. That's the low point. I think even the shittest team Chelsea has team, we're still better than how we played yesterday. That's my whole point.
But Alex, you kind of have to be okay with that. You do have to be okay because no.
What?
No,
because what?
No, because
I have to be okay with how we played against Arsenal.
Alex, wait, hold on. Let me say this: in a perfect world, if in a perfect world, you can say yes, I'm ready for this process, but I'm ready for us to not take a step back at all. I'm ready for things to only go up from this point on. It doesn't work like that. It's not realistic. You have to be.
You don't understand what I'm saying. I can't. Look, I can't go to Aston Villa and get blown out of park.
But Alex, that's exactly what I'm saying. These things are.
Hey, man, why doesn't it work like that?
Because it doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't
you
have
have
to
a new person.
Let me add some things. Well, Arsenal's process wasn't a good process, right? Even though it's paying off now, the 2 years before, there was no improvement. Even now, if Arteta fails, he's built a team for another good manager to take.
No, it just took time.
You
can't say it wasn't it wasn't a good process. It just took time.
Hold on, listen. A process is an improving process. So the team you saw from last season.
You guys aren't paying shit. I think that's it. You guys just aren't paying shit.
They're not.
You're not. You're just not willing to go through.
Let me finish the point. Are you gonna make a comment when I haven't finished the point yet?
Nah, the communication is just broken because y'all getting a different point. Like he's just saying we don't expect.
You're getting a different point because I haven't finished my point, right?
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. Hold on, bro. I'm just saying like yesterday, I can understand if the players play their heart out but still wasn't good enough. That's acceptable on a standard. Like they played, they got the ball, they tried. But these dudes like are not even trying. Like that, I can't accept those standards. And I think that's what they're saying. Like we don't see, they're not giving anything for us to go.
Thank you, Xavi.
We can understand if they're like playing or trying to, create our even pressing hard. I don't think Arsenal were that phenomenal yesterday. I really don't think so. I think we were like really bad and we did not even turn up, and it's been like that. So it's like what are we doing? What are we saying? Even when we're losing possession in that game yesterday, it's like we had no idea what we're doing. It's like that shows me stuff that's on the training ground that is not happening. Like you have no idea how to play. What are you doing? That comment, what that that guy said in that press conference, it's true. Like they did not know had like idea or a game plan. I don't think we didn't prepare at all. I think we just went and just like played. It looked like we just went out on the pitch and played.
We're not gonna be.
So can I ask a question? Were Brighton not good enough when they beat us 4-1?
Hold on, everybody. Let Farah say. I want Farah to say whatever he wants to say because he keeps muffling over there something. I don't know.
I would say this: we're not gonna close the gap in this kind of bread bar of the domestic game unless we give that coach a time and support and condition to work with this group and bringing it in his own multiple windows.
What are you talking about the gap? What gap?
It depends. Like what? Are we going to close the gap to Man City? It depends on the signings as well.
Oh, you're talking about Man City gap? Oh, you think that we're going to be close to that gap?
I'm not saying that. Like it's going to take a long time to do it.
Okay, so how close gap we need to close to top 4? Because we cannot go without top 4 for multiple seasons because we're going to be bankrupt.
I'm sorry, top 4 is a merit to us.
That's an exaggeration. I think that's just blown out of proportion. That's blown out of proportion. And Alex, if these exactly.
It's worst case scenario all the damn time.
Look, if these owners were too scared to lose out on top 4, they would have never fired Tuchel.
Today.
They would have never fired Tuchel because they would have trusted.
It was already today reports by what's his name.
Yeah, I saw it, but
Phillips.
I saw it, but you don't hire a manager from Brighton, give him that much money, pay that much money to get him, give him that many years, build this much around him.
Is Simon Phillips is a proven reporter from as a Chelsea to Chelsea League?
It wasn't even Simon Phillips. It was Liam Townley. But my point,
Simon Phillips.
No, he reposted it, but he credited.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, either way, I'm not dwelling on what he reported. I'm looking at the signs of what our owners did. Look how much they're investing in him. If they're not ready to go through the process, if they're not ready to miss out on top 4, they would have never sacked him and just played it safe with Tuchel and continued on with that model. They would have never sacked him.
Can I ask, if Potter got sacked, would you be somewhat surprised? Or?
I'll be sacked when? Sacked when?
I'll be absolutely.
I agree with what you just said there. But at the same time,
declared sacked when? Sacked when?
What if Potter gets sacked and we got Pep?
Wait,
sacked when?
Sacked
when?
This season,
at the end of the season?
Absolutely everything. No issue.
I was going to say if
we get relegated at the end of the season, he gets fired. Then sure.
No, mate. What I'm getting at is, I agree with the statement that you said that the owners invested a lot, right? But also, and you say normally, by normal common sense, you don't sack a manager after investing that much. But they invested in a whole transfer window. You don't sack a manager right at the start after investing in a transfer window as well. So the Tuchel sacking was not common as well. That wasn't common sense. So because that happened, can you be surprised if Potter got the sack after that investment?
Yes.
You'd be surprised.
I'd be surprised.
But our owners are very unpredictable at the moment.
Because I'm not surprised at Tuchel signing after the fact.
I was going to say the thing is
like we know why he did it, and every
had some sense to it in terms of he wasn't their guy, and they didn't see him as a long-term manager.
Exactly.
We use that phrase because people don't like project manager. Long-term manager. The thing with the Potter thing is, if he is sacked either this season or next season, obviously depending on where we are in the league, I will say that much. Depending on where we are in the league, if we're like top half of the table and he gets sacked in either this season or next season, for me, it just reflects poorly on the ownership. Because why are you giving this guy a 5-year contract, getting the backroom staff that know who he have worked with him, put the foundations in place for this guy to work, and then you sack him after a year? That screams just naivety and
Scott,
inexperience.
I agree.
And I see that happening.
We said the same thing about Tuchel.
I see that happening.
We said, why would you get Tuchel's players and then before he could even use him, sack him? And I know there's multiple reasons.
That didn't make sense, and I didn't want Tuchel sacked. I think that didn't make sense. What I will say on the project thing or the long-term thing and the process thing, because I think people need to understand this, is I don't care who the manager is to a certain extent in terms of for this process. I don't care whether it was Tuchel, because I want to whether it's Potter, whoever it is. But this fan base need to understand that we need to have a process. We need to go through moments of pain, like City did under that first season under Pep, where they went from winning the league and doing really well to finishing 4th and getting battered by Everton and a 16th place Leicester and drawing with Middlesbrough. These type of performances. We need to experience this pain. And
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay not winning the league and getting the top.
Can I finish my point, please?
You interrupted me all the time. Fuck off.
Big baby.
Alex, their step back was from after they won the league.
People need to accept this pain that's going to come and deal with it, and not deal with it in a sense of like, oh, you just need to deal with it. It's like, it's going to hurt. I know it's going to hurt. It's going to suck, but you need to take it on, and you've got to have the faith that in a couple years' time, that there is going to be process in those 2 years with whatever manager it is, manager, it doesn't matter.
That's all.
That it's gonna happen. We might finish 6th, we might finish 5th, we might not even make Europe. Guess what? I don't care if we don't make Europe, because at the end of the day, then it gives these players, if they're still here, to show that we can do it in the league. Because at the moment they're not showing it. But we might finish, 5th or 6th, or not finish Europe, or just scrape 4th. But in the long term, we can do what Arsenal are doing, where, they might not win the league, but they're going to, by the looks of things, they're going to push City the whole season. They are going to, I believe they're one of only 2 guarantees to finish top 4. They're going to finish 2nd, in my experience.
And the fact of the matter is, it doesn't
to work with as well.
The fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter what manager or Ibs, my bad. The fact of the matter is, doesn't matter what manager you have here for the project. There is going to be a period of pain. Some could be worse or longer than others, but you have to be ready to take that bit of a step back. You can critique Potter and say, I don't know if he's the guy. That's a fair question. But to act as if we're not going to go through this to get where we need to be is so naive. And we're never going to get there if you want to keep going that way. We have to go through a period of pain.
I agree.
I'm going to go to SUPERCHAT.
I agree.
Yeah, we're probably
and all I'm saying is just make sure it's still
don't drop too far down. I hope so too. I agree.
Yeah, but we need to establish. We don't even have a proper director of football, the proper system in. So when Potter does leave, that process can go.
We don't.
Is it in motion?
I think we hired director of football. Did we?
Nope.
What about
that other guy?
I heard something like that. Yeah, I heard something.
Yeah. So till that guy comes in, we really haven't even started a process.
No. Hold on a second. No, isn't it report saying that that Bowler said that the people that he hired, he might actually not need the director exactly? Because
I think it's a long game to try and get Edwards, Alex. I think it's a long game to try and get Edwards.
Look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't actually matter because look what happened. I agree, Potter should not be fired because it's too early to feel. Anyway. If we believe the reason why I'm so pissed off, it's because I said it before with Lampard. I want Lampard out the game after the second season, the game after Arsenal. When I realized he's complete wank, don't know what the fuck he's doing on the side of thing. With Tuchel, I was losing with him when he was making substitution in the 80th minute. It has been 2 months. And the red flags, the substitutions, the starting 11, and the biggest problem for me, I cannot figure it out what system he plays and why this a load of shit play worse than they actually are. That's it. That's
because
the
they had an
true,
elite
because
manager before he
we've
lost
been a
their
top 4 team,
performances.
and
that's
you
what
could
I'm
say we
saying. That's
improved
what I'm
with
saying.
all the
That's
players.
what when you, especially when you got saying like Pep Guardiola, whatever. Pep is, I don't rate him because I hate Barcelona and he came from them. There's nothing personal. I just hate the fucking bullshit, and I don't like the style of play he plays. But even you said it, that when he came, he did not play, but his standards did not lower than the level of the playing did not go all the way down to the 7th or to the 8th. Did it?
No, but it's a bit different.
Where they were
exactly.
He came
so
into
my
it, like,
my
the
point.
Champions League, I don't know, but they finished 4th. I know that. I don't know where they
But,
were.
Alex, you have to take into context the season before they won the league, so their drop back was like from league to 4th.
Also,
like
what
it's not.
Oh my god!
And again, as I said earlier,
we haven't won the league in 5
league
years.
to 4th.
What
and that is that the?
But we haven't won the league in 5 years, Alex.
Yeah, and what
do
they
you think
did as
we
well,
are? What do you
what
think
they
we've
did as
been?
well, which we need to do, is they put the foundation pieces in place before he came in. They signed players that were going to work. Like, yeah, they were great players, but they were going to work in a Pep system. They got players in, like, they got not players. They got people in like the backroom staff, like Cheeky or whatever his name is, the guy who used to be at Barca.
The guy literally removed pretty much the whole 11. Like, oh my god,
that's
Still
fine.
need
But
that
with
director
the
of
players
football
into the system,
to
but
keep
you know
that.
how? You know how he was able to get the players like Walker? Like, yeah, they spent money, but they got the players like Walker. They got Silva. They got these players that fit literally, like Gundogan, who people like were questioning at the time.
Walker, hold on, they went through that many fullbacks. What do you mean, like Walker?
Do you know?
Because everybody knew how Pep
do you know
wants
why
to
they
play.
went for someone like Walker over at someone else at the time? Do you know why they
Everybody
went for
knew
these
how
players?
Pep wants to play. That's my problem. I know how Pep wants to play. It's easy to buy him.
And even then, they went through so many players.
Right.
I mean, you mentioned Walker. They went through so many fullbacks before they're happy with Walker.
Hold on.
No,
they
went through one season. And
they went through Sanya. They went through Sanya at right back, and the next season then bought Walker.
Danilo.
Mendy as well.
Danilo was after Walker.
Yeah, they bought Danilo as a backup. Like,
I think
this
they
is
bought Mendy as well.
Yeah, Mendy didn't work. Fair enough. No.
Yeah, they were just buying 50 million fullbacks like no tomorrow.
I think you guys are actually not disagreeing on anything.
How many
I
Man
think
City
everybody's
flops?
agreeing.
How many?
Yeah, I think maybe different time frame.
How many expensive Man City flops can you name? From under since Pep's got there, I can probably go one hand. That is my fucking point. Yeah, they might have had a.
We just heard your noise with one hand. Just make sure you change them.
That's my whole point. Is they might have had a flop in Mendy, but guess what? It didn't matter because then somehow Delph worked out being a good left back. So did Zinchenko, despite he was a can. Like, the people they brought in, literally most of them worked straight away because they had the people in place behind him and they had built that. They built the whole foundation since once they got Pep in, he could assess the squad, the last bit that they could change. He assessed the squad and decided this is what type of player we need and got basically every player they got in right. Because they had the fucking infrastructure. That's what my point is, and that's what I'm talking about. The fact that I can name probably 5 off the top of my head without really thinking about it, like flops from Pep, like under the Pep era, and under our era, I can name 20, probably 15. Like, that's my point.
Yeah,
guys, I need to go through a few of these super chats. President Jafar says, "Why blame Potter when Chelsea haven't beaten Arsenal at home since 2018?" Don't know why Potter has to do with that specific fixture, but fair enough, my guy. Rigo Park says, "Someone tell me how many of our players start for City, Madrid, or other big teams. We bought players without a long-term plan, and we're regressing. It's probably just Reece James, and that's it.
That's it.
Citrus the King says, we will not get the players we need without top 4.
Yes, we will.
Look at the players we brought with top 4. Doesn't make a difference, man. Doesn't make a difference. AV says Mount
What
needs
players?
to go
Are you saying that we signed the bad players?
Yeah.
In the last 5 years, yes.
Last 5 years.
No, I'm talking about now.
No, not now. But I mean,
Oh, no,
my
no,
point
sorry,
is, it doesn't make a difference whether we make top 4 or not.
No. I was going to say the players Arsenal have bought, the reason like they're now top of the league, they bought them while out of being top 4. Like being in top 4, this is something as well people need to realize. Being in top 4 makes no difference whether you can sign someone or not. It's about like you just have to sell the project a bit harder. You might have to pay him a little bit more or sell the project a bit harder. But it's not difficult to get him. It's not difficult to get players if you're outside of top 4.
Championship
I mean, it's
League
not.
doesn't matter,
Considering United's got Casemiro, one of the best DMs in the world.
Yeah, because he already had the Championship League and everything.
Yeah, but they're out of top 4. He could have stayed. He could have gone elsewhere, but he went to United because they paid a bit more than they probably should have done.
Old players you don't need. Old players you don't need. Especially. Oh, you just said Casemiro, the guy that has 3. What the hell he needs the Championship League?
But why does he want to go?
I don't think he's saying winning.
No, he's saying that he can attract. United can still attract a player of that caliber of Casemiro's quality due to the fact that
when you use hold on a second. When you buy a young,
it's not a good example.
Exactly.
The players you want.
Champions League does matter, but you can still
do you guys want to wave money in front of? Do you guys want to wave money for players? You want mercenaries? Is that what you want?
Let me tell you. Let me ask you. Isn't Cuckoo? Isn't Cuckoo?
Love Chelsea.
You want all the players to come here to Chelsea to retire.
Is Leao coming to Chelsea if we don't have a top 4?
Fucking hell.
Is Leao coming to Chelsea if we get top 4?
I don't know Leao personally, so yeah, we don't know.
Don't know. Am I going to
sold to him properly? Yeah.
Look, there's gonna be heaps of clubs in for Leao. You're gonna have to sell him the best project.
But like,
then that's on the manager and on the fucking team
to
do.
Project.
Yeah, that's
you guys said that wasn't
that's
big.
the same.
You
Sorry, that's the
said that
same
wasn't
to
a big factor
anything.
before.
Fucking
You
hell.
just said that wasn't a big factor.
Can I just say this has happened? Can I just say this has happened with teams? This has happened with players and teams in the Champions League and who have won league titles and they still lost out on players because another team sold the project better or gave them more money.
Exactly. Of course.
Like this fucking nonsense, man. Of we need the Champions League.
Not every player's a glory hunter.
Champions League is a big deal. I don't know why you're playing it down.
They have ambition.
How is it a big deal?
I didn't say it wasn't a big deal. I'm saying it's not the be all and end all that we need to make it to sign these players.
You know what I mean?
It's not.
It's
But
not the
all
be all
that
and end all. There's a lot of players in this world.
Wait, stop. I said the Champions League isn't a big deal.
And Scott said
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't. Use your ears and go.
You're literally putting words in our mouth. What are you waffling about? We never said that.
If you're gonna call me out on something, listen.
We said finishing in the top 4 does not mean that we're just going to attract the best talent because we've attracted shit for 5 years. So I'm not too fussed whether we make top 4 or not because we're not winning it.
We're not anywhere close to winning the Champions League anyway. So.
I don't care whether we make top 4 or not. What have we attracted over the last 5 years? Havertz, Werner, Ziyech, Lukaku, great.
Higuain.
What do you mean, great? You guys were in for Lukaku. Hold on. Everyone was happy about a lot of these players when they came in. Right. I mean, you're not happy when you can say in hindsight, yeah, it wasn't good, but when they came in, you're all excited. They weren't players that you had doubts of.
So,
excited about these players.
And what's your point?
Hang on, so wait a minute. After we bought a player, you've never been disappointed by them. You've happy with all the deals.
Of course not.
Well, then what are you saying then?
Yeah, what's your point?
No, because
hey, this is a bunch of people just saying something about making a point because they think it makes them sound clever. Like, what is the point here?
I got to ask the question, Scotty. Yeah.
Go on, Declare.
I'll answer this question because all these things that you guys are playing down actually helped us sell a project, Champions League, the manager. It sold something to the players to choose our club, right? In competition, you just saw us lose a lot of competition as well to players, right? Now the players don't turn out well. You go, well, Lewis is saying, well, who cares? You know, it helped us to get these players that flop for us, right? But what if Leao and Nkunku comes in and the top 4, we get top 4, and that's what get us over the edge, right? And maybe Potter sells the project, how he's going to use it, and we get them players. But maybe they turn out to be flops. But right now, you guys are excited about those players, right? And it helped us to get those players. Whether they turn out to be flops or not is what you guys want. Is what we want. If you want to miss out to them, all right, because of that, because you guys are playing, well, Potter's not a big factor. The project's not a big factor. Top 4's not a factor. You're going to miss out on these players that you're excited about now.
Potter or the project isn't a big factor.
I was going to say, again, you're just saying stuff for the sake of it. No one here, literally no one here.
Whether you make top 4 or not, like, makes a massive difference. I'm saying I don't care. Like, we can make
I know you don't care. I'm saying
there was a question. There was a question.
Also
There was a
players.
hold on a second. There was a question. If you don't get top 4, you don't how you say it in English. If you don't get top 4, it will make you harder to sign players. And Scott went on the rumble and said, "This is so overrated. It doesn't fucking matter." Go back on the stream and you'll see it.
Okay, that I agree with. Like, I don't think it makes that much of a difference. Look at the players.
And
That's
all we
why I
did.
said it.
It's all we did.
No, you then
All
said
we
I said the
did is
Champions League
actually
doesn't matter, which
challenge.
is not what I said. It's not what I said.
Sorry, that's what I referred to when I said top 4. I mean the Champions League.
I was going to say, people acting like I'm saying like the Champions League in general doesn't matter. Of course it matters. I'm saying the idea of signing these players, like everyone's going, "Oh, we need top 4 to get Nkunku and Leao." No, we don't. No, we don't.
You might.
Why?
And that's
because,
exactly.
No, because how many times have we seen players come to the Premier League because they just want to play in the Premier League?
Give me like 15 seconds, I'll explain it. Because another club will go, "Yeah, I got Champions League, I got this and that," and it looks more appealing. That's why.
Exactly. If it doesn't involve, as long as you do not compete with the direct rival.
Can I ask a question? No, actually, okay, I've got a question.
You have to sell them that you're going to try to get back into the Champions League.
I've got 2 players I want to talk about.
Do you guys
I've got 2 players.
Talk about Newcastle players.
No, I'm going to go, Mayo. I'm going to go even further down than that. I've got 2 players I want to bring up, and yeah, it's only 2 players. I want to talk about Mateus Nunes and Ruben Neves. You've got a guy who basically every big team in the Premier League wanted in their midfield, and he went to Wolves, who are like 17th. Then you've got Ruben Neves, who was captaining his the team he was at, like 18, playing in the Champions League, and he went to a Championship level team. And he's now one of their best players. But I'm meant to believe.
Not a big team
I'm meant to
him.
believe.
No big team wanted him.
Exactly.
I'm meant to believe that just playing in the Champions League.
You're meant to believe that no big club wanted him.
Nobody
That's what
wanted
you're meant to believe.
Bruno Guimaraes picked Arsenal.
Which
Sorry,
one
picked
you guys
Newcastle
talking
over
about?
Arsenal, despite the fact Newcastle were further down because again they had a better project and they sold it better.
Project.
He's now
None of them had the Europa.
the best DM in the league. But cool, you had players like Sven Botman chose Newcastle again in a position further down rather than going to AC Milan to challenge potentially for Champions League and top 4. Sorry, in the title. Because again, playing the Premier League.
When he went to AC Milan was irrelevant.
But again, you man want to talk about a top 4. It's so key.
Scott, you got to lay off the transfer rumors, bro, because that's not. You got to feel players aren't that dumb to pick a championship team over like big teams and that.
Yeah,
if a big team comes in for big money, it's easy. It's an easy decision.
Would you call
But you're meant to
Newcastle a big
believe
team?
transfer
Would you call
rumors.
Newcastle a big team?
Would you call Newcastle a big team?
I don't know. The player that way went.
No.
The player that way went for
AC Milan a
DM.
big team.
Alex Hermans, did you call Newcastle a big team, Declan?
I called AC Milan a big team.
No. We were talking about Newcastle coming in for AC Milan.
Yeah,
So
we
that's
want to hear
we're
what you're
talking
saying about
No,
Newcastle.
didn't Bruno pick? No, he
Why
said
did-
Bruno picked Newcastle
No.
over
You're not,
AC
that's
Milan.
not,
No, I
you're
said
not
he picked
listening.
Newcastle
You're
over
not
Arsenal.
listening.
And Botman picked
Oh,
Newcastle
he
over
picked over
Milan.
Arsenal.
No, because Newcastle just paid this release class and Arsenal didn't. That's it.
By the way,
So
Kante
wait, who did
joined
Bruno
us.
pick
What
over
about
then?
what about Sven
Arsenal
Botman?
or AC Milan?
I don't know what the
This
fuck that is.
cracks me up. Like
Well-
again, every player I just mentioned there, bar maybe Botman gets into our team, but apparently I'm meant to believe that if we don't play in the Champions League, we can't get
You
that
can
level of
believe
quality.
in your own little world. All I can say is
You man just want to
what's
waffle.
his
You just
name?
man just want to talk
Manchester
and just
City,
talk and make no
Manchester
points.
City.
Hey,
After
you
Chelsea.
believe in transfer
It is what
rumors,
it
bro.
is.
That's
It is
what you believe
what
in.
it is. Okay, bro.
What's his
You're
name?
using
What's
you're
his
using
name?
transfer rumors to make up your example. It's the worst thing. They're not even
No,
true.
he actually said a transfer that
What
happened.
the hell is the
You
even the
just
point of
listen.
what we're talking about?
I was going to
Yeah.
say I said 4 transfers
Every
that
other
happened.
example
You just
wasn't.
missed them all. But hey ho, here we go.
Who cares about rumors? Where did they end up? Why are they where they are?
Hey, here we go. Here we go.
He said he talked about Neves and Nunes. Why were they picked up? But they chose these clubs. That's what you said.
And then he
You
talks
made
about
out that big
Botman.
clubs
And
went
he
for
talks
him.
about Botman at Newcastle.
Bro, I can
wait,
go, bro. This is the thing. If I had more time on my hands right now, I could go through and find loads of examples.
Well,
I just can't be
release
fucking
you.
bothered because I've already done
Stop
4.
wanking.
And instead of doing that, and
You'll
instead of
have
trying
more
to
hands.
go and deflect, like you just like answer it. Like I've said Botman, I've said Guimaraes, I've said Neves, I've said Nunes. What's your counter to that? Because I've shown you examples of where
big
it doesn't
club
matter where you're playing. Neves went and joined a championship team from a Champions League team where he was their captain.
Yeah, can I ask?
Why haven't big clubs come in for him? The last transfer window. Why weren't they picked up?
Because he's priced
You
at
gonna tell me he's
75,
bad?
80 million. No,
I was gonna say because he costs like 100 mil.
I asked you a question. Why would you answer me with another question? I said, why weren't they picked up?
I just said
2 years left on
priced
his
him out of a
contract.
move.
From
Who
now.
priced him out?
So
Wolves,
I'm
they're saying
guessing that's
85
probably
million
it.
for him.
They won't sell it for 85. You believe that?
TJ, thank you. Kante literally went.
Why
Kante
don't you tell us the answer you want us to say?
Kante went from a title-winning team
You believe
to us who
you
finished
believe that
10th.
big clubs. You believe that all these big clubs tried to get him and couldn't get him. That's why he's there.
I did
and that's why his choice.
Kante literally choose between two non-championship league teams, between Arsenal and Chelsea.
Say again.
So that's what is.
No, Arsenal finished second that season.
Arsenal finished second that season.
Which season was that?
Well, 15,
when we
16,
finish, when we are top,
oh yeah,
out
they
of top.
finished second. Yeah, because Spurs bottled the title race and finished third. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, 15, 16. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's just.
Yeah, so they went with
that's
Jackson.
a different season. Yeah, different season.
Yeah, they lost. Yeah, they finished
Oh,
third.
we overpaid for him. The salary. We paid
That's
salary
fine.
for Kante.
That's
why
fine. That's my point at the start. Is you might have to pay him more money or try and sell the project a bit more. That's fine. That was literally my starting point of this. Is it's not that important. It plays a factor. It's not that important as everyone makes it out to be. That was literally my starting.
There are other
point
things
on
you
it.
can sell.
And instead of listening to that, you just wanted to just spew shit and waffle and not listen. That was my original point. Fucking
my original point is that everything adds up. What adds up, Champions League adds up. When there's multiple clubs in for a player, right? You can say money can. Yeah, you can say that money can swing them, but every other club's got money too, right? And even if it's less money, right? There's going to be heaps of other factors. What's important to a player? And if we don't even look like making top 4 the next season, these guys are asking, when is this team going to get back into the Champions League? It's not about missing one season. It's about your ability to get back in there as well.
Declared, you just said you don't know all factors that could swing a player, but you're basing it all on Champions League. There are other factors.
Champions League is a big factor, is what kicked off this conversation, right? I said the manager is a big factor as well. Is that right?
It's one of them, but it's not always a big factor. It's a project. What are you selling to the player? Where are we going to be in a couple of years?
Yo, y'all both like saying the same.
How much money you?
I know we're saying the same thing, but like people are trying to play down some of the factors.
I don't think we're playing it down. No one was playing it down. You guys were playing it too much. You guys are playing it up too much.
That's the thing. You're overstating the importance of finishing in the top 4. When I'm saying it's not the end-all to signing the best players. It's not.
Yeah, like that's the.
For the best players, I think it's a massive factor. For a player,
it's not a massive factor. It's a factor. Not a massive one. Again, you're overstating it.
No.
Okay. No. I feel it's a big factor. You guys
it's a big factor if you're going for the same player
Yeah.
for the same position.
And it also depends on the player themselves.
For example, if we go on, for example,
exactly, Xavi.
If we go on for the player that young talent player, and we're in the same position as the other team that goes for him, and one team is the 5th in the league, another team is the 4th in the league. He never been playing in the Championship League. That could be a major factor.
You're thinking of Eden Hazard, aren't you? Yeah, because that sounded exactly like Hazard when we were 4th and they were 5th. I understand it, and it's a factor. But
look, it's a factor. I'm saying, and look, nobody's saying that it's like you cannot persuade it with the money. You can always persuade with the money, but then when you persuade them with the money, you have to pay the other players. Then young talents that is already at your club, you're gonna have to tell them why Reece James does not want to re-sign a contract because you paying some bum that much money, and then I'm saying, like, for example, if we are out of top 4 and we are gonna buy somebody who wanted a Championship League, and we have to overpay him in a salary just to get him to Chelsea playing without Championship League, and we eventually get to the Championship League place, and when the other player that not relevant to that team all of a sudden gets the renew contract, he's gonna talk.
It's all maybes, mate.
That's
Isn't
so
Tuchel a
many
bum?
ifs, bro.
I
was going to say this.
We
Alex.
are literally right now, literally living through that
The
scenario.
longer you are out of the Champions League, it does become a factor. The first year, I think you can get away with it. Yeah, I think the first year you can get away with it. Yeah. Then from the second year, it starts to be seeing the quality of the players. And Arsenal have had to be, we bring up Arsenal, but you have to be more strategic then in your signings because
that Saliba guy almost
Prime, I love
left.
you, by the way. Prime, I love you.
He almost
he did.
left.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he did.
He almost left because of it.
Yeah, but we want the Champions League to get into.
I think the Champions League kind of supplement because you pushed yourself back.
You got into the Champions League. Yeah,
and that's how we got Hazard.
But it also depends.
If we didn't win the Champions League, he was going to Tottenham.
But winning against the Champions League,
Hazard, we got his brother, we got his both brothers.
Afterwards.
Again, it goes with the money. I'm saying that's the later becomes the problem when you get to the fourth, and all of a sudden players like real talented players you want them to sign the new contract, and they don't. Like why Tommy left? Like why Reece James signed for that much money? Why Mount does not sign for that much money? Because he's saying I'm better than bomb like this. I'm better than bomb like this. So why this is what I'm trying to say.
James got his contract done ASAP and Mount's still waiting. Now you do still have to show on the pitch too. I get what you're saying, but I only see that as a small factor. If we were out of top four for 2 or 3 years, fair enough, but I'm not even anticipating that. I anticipate 1 year out of top four at the worst, not 2. I think we're worrying way too much for that point. If we were even thinking of being outside the top four for more than 2 years, I'd completely understand the questions.
All right, so that's a good question though. Like, what if we're outside of the top four? What if we're outside of the top four and Potter is still the manager? Are you guys gonna question him then or not? Just a question. I'm not saying Potter out anything.
If we're 3 years down the line and he's had his players,
game out anyway. That's the thing. Yeah. Like you can question without being in or out. Like I've questioned in-game management is substitutions and that. I'm still Pottering.
And I was gonna say, but it depends. If we're 3 years down the line, we've finished outside the top four a couple of times. He's got his players, and we're still playing like we are now. Yes, I'll massively question him because at that point there are no excuses. There are none. Like he's had time, he's had the players, he's had the backing. Like we've allowed the process to work. We've experienced the pain. If we're still experiencing the pain and there's no progress, then yes, I'll massively question him. But that's a massive if.
I don't know. I felt like his team
we're just speculating too much. Let me go through a few more of these super chats. AV says Mount needs to go ASAP. So tired of overrated British talent. I mean, he's been shit this season. That's fair enough.
And is that only for the players or managers too? Overrated English managers.
I mean, it's too early to judge with Potter. Mount's been here for 3 years. Howard says our scouts should focus on pace and power players, technical ability too. Please. And David says how much money are those players being paid? And I think that was about
too
Núñez
much
and Neves. Oh, he's talking about Núñez and Neves.
I'll go and find out for you.
Wolves aren't.
Made him captain to give him a little bit.
Yeah, Wolves
any English team plays better than any in a Portuguese league, man.
Núñez is on 85k a week, and Neves on 50k a week. Yeah, Neves on 50k a week.
By the way,
for Guimaraes as well, just because of him, he's on 120, either on 60 or 120. I don't know if his increase.
And that's why AC Milan didn't want to pay him, so that's why he's there.
That was not AC Milan
going for.
That was
Arsenal.
And Newcastle are trying to extend his contract now, so he doesn't go anywhere. To give him even more money.
We were linked to him,
But because I was going to say, because there's rumors that Madrid want him, but apparently, like again, that you can't go from Lyon to Newcastle, who are like 16th or wherever they were when they signed him.
They were in a relegation zone.
Might have been, but hey ho.
I definitely think that like stuff like Champions League is a big factor, but it's not the be all end all. I mean, for some players it is, but like if you're selling a project to a person or like they know they're gonna get game time or the money's right, I think we can. It's just gonna be way harder. And both of y'all was making great, like the same, like good points. Like both of y'all was making.
The funny part is I wasn't even that mad yesterday after the game, as much as people made me mad this fucking stream. Like the refusing to understand that like I just I just don't think that the players are that bad of a shape to be
they're not.
To be playing like that for the past 3-4 games.
They're not terrible to the point they play like that.
Listen, listen, it's not 3 or 4 games. It's in the league for the past 3 years. They've been shit.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. No. I understand that in the collectiveness, yes.
Right,
in
that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking
but
about
no,
that.
you refuse on one thing.
What's
like
that,
it's like people forget. Even under Lampard, majority of the games, especially in the beginning of the season, at least I knew the system he wants to play. You don't understand. I knew the system. Same thing with Tuchel in the beginning when he first came. Within a couple of games, I saw he. And you saying it's not his players, but for some reason, he did adjust to the players and make them better. That's what I don't see with Potter.
Did it? Hang on.
I swear. Can I just say under Lampard?
Sorry, Scott. Sorry, I probably should interrupt. He made us defensively better. He didn't make us better as a team.
Yeah, because under Lampard we are conceding goals for fun.
Oh, that's because he can't.
But that's what I'm saying. He solved the problem and he changed it.
Right, but we were still discussing the same issues of bad finishing, stuff like that. That was and in the end,
I don't think with under Lampard we were that bad offensively.
Oh no, Lampard. Sorry, I'm talking about Tuchel.
Oh,
that's what I'm talking about. He said what he did is he did the best thing you're supposed to do, sort of the defense out first. Problem is that as we have discussed on many streams, and I still do right now, you have an issue with finishing and creating chances, or whatever we want to say. That's still a big issue. But now, at the end of the Tuchel reign and the start of this one, defensively we're not solid as well, and that's the issue as well. So we got this. At least we could have under Tuchel and a bit the Champions League run, whatever you say, and then the league a little bit. You could have gone, okay, we're not going to get, we're going to get through this. It's going to be a war of attrition. You know what I mean? We're going to get through this 1-0 job, and we're done a bit. But even then, that started failing at the end. So
that's my point. It's not the fail. It's just consistency. For example, look, if bring it up, we not even defend. He did not make defense better, like adjust the defense for the better structure. He did not adjust the forward for the better structure. So now it's completely everything unbalanced. We're conceding for fun, and we're not scoring because we have a donkeys over there.
Yeah, that's
you see what I'm saying?
The thing is with Tuchel for me, and this is why I agree. Like, I think Tuchel's better than Potter as a manager, but I think that's the problem is that he was, as a manager, for the most part during his reign, able to mask the deficiencies of a large portion of these players. Plus, I think at the time as well, we had better players in certain areas. Like us losing Rudiger and Christensen hurt us massively. And it's like we've seen Kante decline. But that's the thing is like, especially with these attacking players or with some of these players, he masked these deficiencies so much by doing certain things. Whereas Potter, I think, again, he's not as good a manager. I don't think he's a bad manager, but he's not as good as Tuchel. So he's not as able to easily mask these deficiencies, especially when he is trying to play I see how he's trying to play in terms of a system. I think it's quite possession based. It's just a bit more direct and a bit more open than we were under Tuchel. I then don't think these players have the ability to step up to then put the instructions and the tactical kind of like what he wants in terms of tactics under, like they're not able to do that. So then we're seeing.
I'm actually more mad about the owners than Potter at this situation.
Yeah,
and that's why I put it Boley out since yesterday, because I think they the reason. Like I will be okay. I would be okay with Tuchel stay for the at least to see. They did not have to do it right after the transfer window. If you had it in your mind, because the way that sounded like, if you believe it, stories or not, it's like they knew that they're gonna suck him. Why didn't they do it in the beginning? And like that's like I don't know, man.
I think they tried. I think they tried to work. I think they tried to work with him, but it wasn't working. And they were so
I understand.
They were so rushed. They were so rushing into getting everybody out. Like,
but they wanted to sack him, but in PR it didn't look good. It wouldn't look good if they did it.
Yes. Hold on a second. Just one quick. Why they did it right after the transfer window? The complaints that they had, it's he's not communicating on which players to buy, which not. That's the communication, right? But after the transfer window is done, it's not like it's a big problem because you do not have that conversation anymore because transfer window is already done.
I agree, and I think that comes to I think what that speaks to is the naivety of Bowley as a manager in this game, or not a manager, an owner in this sport. I think that's what that speaks to. I think that speaks to him, his naivety. I think that's what it comes down to. Because I think you're right. Like, if he was going to sack Tuchel, just sack him at the start. Like, it's going to hurt, it's going to suck, but do it at the start so you can actually give Potter a preseason and a window. And I think that comes down to inexperience and naivety more than anything. I don't think that comes down to like. I don't think that comes down to him wanting it to work with Tuchel. Like, I think it just comes down to naivety in terms of he thought he could get away with it. Like, he thought he could do it.
Just on that point, Scott, on that naivety, right? Well, one second. On that naivety, can he succumb to pressure? I mean, if like I said, if there was no World Cup and in a month we kept playing the same, and like I said, there'll be more people Potter out, and can that naivety, right? Because he bought a project that maybe, we're talking about a guy that doesn't have experience in football, right? Can he succumb to making a bad decision? We want Potter to stay and be given time, but can the noise of Potter out trigger that naivety and maybe sack him?
I think so. I said this on another stream. I think the only way I think the only way Potter gets sacked within, again, dependent on position, like dependent on where we are in the league. Even if we're in a decent position, like 7th, 8th, like I don't think that's terrible, but it's not great. I think the only thing that will get him sacked is the fan reaction. Similarly to what was happening with Sarri, I think if the fan reaction gets bad enough to the point where they're treating him like they're treating Sarri, that's where I think Bowley will, again, being like a new owner or an owner in a new sport, being a bit naive, I think he will buckle. I think he'll buckle under the fan pressure. And I think
and maybe Bowley's the worst enemy to the progress.
Declare.
Yeah, that's all I want to say.
And that's the problem. And that's the big problem. Now I'm going to be mad even more on the Bowley because if he gets Potter sacked, because now he hired not only Potter, he hired the half of backroom staff from Brighton. Oh, yeah. He hired all of them. So now he has to double. That's another reason I don't want Potter out, because now it's even worse situation than it was before, because Bowley actually made that mistake and he brought the he got that thing on his own. They the one that fired him. They the one that should be responsible, not Potter. You see what I'm saying? If I don't know how to explain it, it's like
at the end, he has to double down at this point. He has to fully double down.
He has to double down. That's why. Now he put himself in such a big corner that the only way he can give that's the only reason that and it will be on him even more.
I
saw some people. Sorry, I'll say declare.
I just wanted to. I wanted to add one sentence.
I saw some people say in the comments. Just before you say points, I saw some of the people comment saying about what do you mean 3 years when I said 3 years earlier? I say 3 years because I think you've given this guy a 5-year contract. You have to give him the opportunity, and I don't think you can sack him any earlier than 3 years, again, dependent on where we finish, because otherwise this has just seemed like a colossal waste of time. Why did you give this guy 5 years instead of 3? Why did you, put so much backing behind him? Why did you bring all of this backroom staff in, for him? You have to give him those 3 years and have to give him the players he wants, because otherwise this has just been a colossal waste of time and a colossal.
Exactly. And
that's why personally I think he is going to give him that time based on all these things. I just don't see him cutting.
Of course he is, because he put so much money on that. The problem is, what if, for example, when you put that much money, you become blind to the situation that of no return.
So what needs to happen if Potter gets in the situation where the noise, the fan base gets so loud that Potter's out? Bowley has to come out. Bowley has to come out and back his man, right? He has to say what's happening. Yeah, and we need this director of football to make that comment too.
Especially
no. Actually, no. He doesn't. No. Do not say a single word. Actually, because that's even worse. If you come out and back him publicly, I think that creates this idea of he's under pressure. Don't say anything. Do not say anything and just double down on backing him. Don't say a word.
But he's going to be under pressure, Scott. The media is going to be on him. The fan base is going to be on him.
Scott, I hear what you're saying, Scott. I think it's better if he does back him in public. If your owner backs you,
I don't know if it does.
It's not. You
debunk all the Sky Sports journalists.
Look, if you're dealing with the player power, yes, you go public and tell them. If you're dealing with the player power, yes, you tell them the power is in charge. But no, we're fans.
But the news as well. The fans.
Hold on, no, declared no. Right after he fired one of the Chelsea's favorite managers. It's over here on the streams. There's a few that want to Tuchel out, but majority of Chelsea fans did not want him out. And I'm saying majority, I mean substantial amount.
They have to run their business how it sees fit. We can't run the club if it was. We're just fans, we're consumers.
Do you understand the clubs is run based on how the fans react?
No. But if that's the case, then they'll react on everything. They'll react to everything we want. It can't run like that. They got to run it how they see fit. Unfortunately,
yeah, I actually don't think Ole's going to be. I don't think he's going to buckle under the pressure.
I hope he is.
I just don't think so.
Look at
the way he got rid of Tuchel. I just don't think he cares. He had a plan, he had his vision, and he did it. He just did his thing.
He did address that sacking. But let me paint you a picture of when I feel Boli has to come out. Is when every second media after every game, the media comes out and asking, Potter's getting sacked, or is he getting sacked? And then you got pundits saying he's getting sacked. Fan base are calling out. At this point in time, Bowley has to come out and back his man, address that it is a long-term plan and there is a plan in place. And then everyone can shut up. But that's what needs to happen. Because every question to Potter...
the booing too yesterday after the game, by the way. I heard the booing at the stands.
Imagine every interview asking Potter, how do you feel about your job? Do you think you're going to lose your job? At this point in time, when everything's against you, Bali has to come out.
At the interview, when did you last time heard somebody ask anybody, "They look like your players don't know what they're doing on the field"? Any manager, at any time.
I wish Klopp got that question.
Yeah.
No, that's a serious question. That's not a trolling question.
That's a question before. The next question after that is your job on the line. That's the next question after that. That's what it is.
You know, I mean, probably.
And all of a sudden, today that the article came out, the top 4 is it's not if, it's a priority for Chelsea. It's a standard.
Yeah, but that feeds into that report, and that's the problem with this media in this country. That's another issue in of itself. We can
no. I'm just saying that what can happen to support your theory that how fans can get rid of him. You see what I'm saying? Like
I agree, but that's why I think I agree with Moyo. Where I hope
the media, the fans and media.
And I hope his experience in being in sports, regardless of what sports is in terms of with the baseball, I hope that his knowing of how he ran that can help him with this, where I don't know how it was for the Dodgers, like in terms of at the start of when he came in, how it was across like their whole time period of him being in charge of them, like owning them. But I'm hoping that like his experience with that will help and like will mean that he does drown out the noise, regardless of if people boo, if they say Potter out, if they say whatever. I'm hoping he can block it out. I'm hoping he can do that because at the end of the day, more good is going to come.
I believe he will.
Almost regardless of where we see, like where we finish and what happens on the pitch, more good will come with you sticking with this guy for at least a couple of years because it means you can put the infrastructure in place everywhere else. So the next guy you get in, there should be less problems. There should be less problems in terms of, you know, that straight turnaround, in terms of who you bring in terms of the injuries happening. Like that's another thing as well. I saw the people, by the way, that questioning Potter for the Chilwell injury thing. I'm not questioning Potter because I don't think anyone's that stupid to play him, give him more minutes than he needs to play when he's got an injury. Clearly, I think that comes from the medical staff.
It's a red flag. He's the final answer. He's the one that final.
No, but I think that comes from the medical team telling him how many minutes he's good to play. I think the medical team have gone out and said, yeah, he's got that bandage, but he's good to play 90 minutes. Which, if that's the case, this medical team.
Did he bring his own medical team from the
Yes, he did. Brought his own medical team.
I don't think he brought the medical team.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think he brought the medical team. I know he brought
That's funny
the
if he did.
goalkeeping coach and he brought the McLaughlin.
I think it was like 6 people.
Whatever.
Scott, I think it was like 6 people came from the club.
Yeah, I don't think.
I even think he's trying to fill the director of recruitment as well.
Yeah, I would. For me, again, I'm choosing to believe it's the medical team over Potter just because I don't believe someone can be truly that thick.
It's true. It's like, any club medical team chooses.
Yeah, I'm choosing to believe that no one can be that thick to not realize that a guy with an injury, who you say he was told, oh, he can only go 45 minutes, and you've chosen to play him a whole 90. That's stupid on another level. So I'm choosing again.
I don't know.
For common sense sake, to choose.
Do we even know what the bandage he was wearing was for?
Yeah, it was a tight thing for the hamstring on the left foot. He felt the tightness. Apparently, that's the thing. What's his name? What's his name?
Take care, bro. Big up.
Lewis, big up on that, man. Big up, guys. Big up, guys.
The medical staff, what does they advise? But he's the one that makes the final decision.
I agree, but I think he would go off their basis because he had Cucurella on the bench as well. Like on that, in that game, he could. The
problem is that specific game. The problem is that specific game was so unimportant.
Yeah,
I agree, but then I think exactly with it being so unimportant, like you can make that sub.
But Cucurella played the game before.
But you can play him for like 60 minutes and then bring him on. Like if he says, "Oh, he's only good for 60 minutes," common sense is the only thing that's the reason why I'm believing that it's the medical team over Potter. But common sense is the only reason.
Why didn't he just ask him if he wanted to play? Right? Ben likes to play, guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Ben likes to play.
Hey, Josh on the move. Give us your thoughts.
What do you guys think? At the end of the day, he sacked Tuchel because they got into beef, and Potter and him are on good terms, and so I don't think he's gonna sack Potter anytime soon. He's gonna stick with him. But
I don't think it's that simple.
Javi, like I said, if Oli doesn't back his man, I'm gonna have doubts.
Yeah. That's
I'm
the
hoping
thing.
everything's
He's
right.
got to back him now. He's got to back him because if he doesn't, he's just like, this just smacks of another owner coming in who has all the money and no idea, and I don't want that for this club. Like, for as bad as I think the old regime was towards the end, the biggest thing I can say is they had an idea of what to do in terms of when things got bad, like for the most part.
Yeah, true.
Like if we've got someone who doesn't know what they're doing and just wants to flash money everywhere, bro, we've seen that doesn't work. We've seen that.
I'll give you a little deja vu from 20 years ago. When Mourinho first got sacked, I was in shock. I was shocked. Maybe if anyone can still remember, everyone was shocked. It's after some years later, right, is when we started to realize Roman just sacks anyone. And that's when we knew that every manager was in doubt. Oh, if he doesn't get this, he's probably going to get the sack. Right now, we have no idea what Bolly's going to do. He just sacked Tuchel for a different reason. Would he succumb to the pressure like we've been talking about? Does he have an expectation for Potter? Like, I know it's a process, but maybe he still you got to hit some goals. So, and maybe there could be any reason Potter can be gone. And that's what I say. If he doesn't back him, I'm going to start having more doubts and more doubts, as the season goes on, and it depends if our performance improves or not.
Well,
he might feel it's a waste of time. See you later.
Well, Here's my thing, and Alex kind of alluded to it earlier. I'm all for a project and all for giving a guy a chance, but I haven't seen what is his style of football. If you're bringing in a guy to be a project manager, right? Then you come in and you force feed your system on the players. You don't just say oh well, I've got these players, so I have to do it this way. No, if your goal is to be here, then you force feed what your system is on these guys. You make them play the way that you want to play. Now, listen, I know some of these guys won't be here, but that's not the point. A lot of these guys will be here next year, so you might as well get a head start in implementing your system on these guys. Make them play the football that you want them to play. You don't just come in and say, oh well, some of these guys can't play this way, so I can't play that way. No, you force feed it. Someone had mentioned Pep. Someone had mentioned Pep earlier. Pep came in and he just force fed his system on the guys. They struggled for a year, right? But the next year they were.
Can I just say, Josh? I
Josh,
agree
it's true, yeah. Because Conte did the same thing. Conte had a system and he didn't implement it. He didn't want to change it till it got bad. It's a risk in a sudden change. If Potter did that, if there is some system there and it's too much of a change, it's going to result in bad performances. We all
that's
know
what I'm
that.
saying. Like,
That's
if we're gonna suck, if we're gonna suck, and we're like already saying like, oh well, it's gonna be painful, then just do it now. Play your system. But I haven't seen any system from this guy.
Can I be honest? I think he is. Like, I know people are going to disagree. I personally have seen at least some semblance of a system, but I think he is trying to imprint it for the most part. I think yesterday, or not yesterday, like the Arsenal game, whenever it was yesterday, was a change where we went more defensive, had less of the ball, and tried to hit counterattacks, at least in the first half. And then because our like our players are afraid that they fell into the corner. But like for the most part, I think he has tried to implement something. I just think the players are just not able to pick it up. I think he is trying, like, to have at least a basic of a system, and he was. But I think, like,
I know you heard it right, Lewin.
We Scott at some point.
Mahmood, by the way, we're gonna wrap up, but like DM me and I'll send you the link to the next one.
Right. I just think these players aren't good enough to take the system on. Like, because like I look at it, right, because I see people complaining about the lineup, and I look and go like, well, who else can he play in certain positions? Because like you take man out and put Gallagher in, but most people think Gallagher isn't good enough, like, to start for us long term and can't pick the system up that well. Like, he's been good, but a lot of people seem to think he's not good enough long term to start for us. He could be a squad player. I see people say Ruben's not good, or does he play Kovacic and risk him get injured? Then he gets moaned at like he did with Chilwell for overplaying Kovacic. Like,
you can adjust throughout the game. If something doesn't go, you don't have to wait until the 80th minute.
Oh no, I agree. The late subs is pissing me off. The late subs, I completely agree. I mean, just in terms of the lineups,
and that's how I rate the managers. That's how I check on the managers. If you see something doesn't work, please change.
Hey, sorry. Can I just address the dickhead in the comments? He keeps coming after me, brother. Like, if you, again, like I said to the others earlier, if you actually want to listen to what I say and not try to paint me out to be a racist, which you did earlier, then if you listen and go back and watch and actually keep the receipts, then you'd fucking understand. Suck your mother.
Who is that?
Well, like this is a guy who yanked. This is a guy who yanked.
Dude.
This is a guy.
He gets at everyone. He gets at
everyone. He used to be on my ass all the time. All of a sudden, he's my fanboy. Fuck you.
This man trying to pay me out to be a
This is the manager who yanked Cucurella off in the 32nd minute of a game this season. Like, where did that go? Why did you stop doing that? Like, I don't think this guy has gotten one lineup right since he's been in charge. And you can say AC Milan, but guess what? Reece James was in that team, and Reece James solves a lot of covers up a lot of issues when he's on the pitch. He's that good, right? So when he's not there, you got to come up with something different. And Lewis, to your point about who do you play, or Scott might say, who do you play? You play different players. I'm sorry, like, you don't continue with Mount and Havertz. Gallagher, and I'll say it, and I don't care what anyone thinks, is a better player than Mason Mount. He's much more versatile, and Mason Mount has been atrocious this season. So there's no there's no spot that's like automatically gifted to Mason Mount. We just watched Dennis Zakaria have a really nice game. Yeah, it was against Zagreb, but guess who else played against Zagreb? Mason Mount, and he wasn't good in that game. So, like, I'd play Dennis Zakaria. Kovacic, I don't think played against Zagreb, did he?
No, I
don't. So
he did. He did.
Did he start?
He came on. No, he didn't start.
He came on for Ruben, I think.
He's more than capable of starting. He's more than capable of starting that game yesterday and playing 60, 70 minutes if he has to. Like, and then you got Kai Havertz, who, listen, this guy, like, we've seen enough of this guy, man. I'm sorry, he's atrocious. You've got guys.
You have an agenda.
Another thing. Sterling played well. Sterling played well in the beginning of the season.
He actually played better. No, he played better yesterday.
And what I'm saying, he was terrible. Where he used to play good, right beside Aubameyang. It's it.
Yeah.
So that
those are the things I expect manager to pick up.
Like, even if Mount, to you know my stance on Mount. This guy has been shit, and I don't think he's at the standard. But even on Wednesday, you play Mount a full 90, and you play him again, and don't take him off until like the 75th minute. And like I saw Mount trying to track. You can see his legs are dead. Even though I'm not blaming it to tiredness. I just think he's been awful. But like that kind of don't make sense because you're saying you're resting players, but then start the same players that play the full 90. On Wednesday, is there just like certain decisions that are like very red flaggish? And I'm not saying pot out, but we can question these decisions. Like
some decisions are 100% questionable. Like 100%.
You know what's pretty funny? It's been 3 managers. We've been asking why.
Oh, you agree now, Moya?
No, I question him too, but I'm not gonna get all like crazy about it and be like,
yeah,
oh, this guy's not the right
I said,
one.
I'm
patient.
His subs, like
I'm
the
okay with this stuff.
Piss me off. Like they piss me off.
I'm just tempered.
I could understand it towards the start of his reign when he was making late subs in games because like trying to work out what players you can bring in where or whatnot. Yeah. Now, like with the game yesterday, it pissed me off. Like the late subs are pissing me off.
And Scott,
but like I can look at other things and understand it.
Scott, I would be way more willing to give him leeway if he was like consistently like if he listen.
He's inconsistently consistent.
Well, you can say what you want about Pulisic. Like, if he was like playing these guys for like 2 or 3 games and you weren't getting anything, and then he's changing it. Like, if he was doing this stuff, I'd be way more give him way more leeway than him shoving out the same guys every game and expecting something different. We've seen this. Like people say, oh well, we've had 3 managers. They all play Mason Mount. Where are those 3 managers right now? They've all been sacked. Like I'm okay with like.
Yeah,
I'm
Josh,
okay
is it one of that's Potter? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no. Listen, you have to like. No, you can't.
Eventually, it will come to that.
Yeah, well, happen to him too if he's stubborn like this. Like you cannot be so stubborn.
I agree, Josh, but the players that are on the bench are questionable too.
Let me ask you people.
The guys on the bench,
they are, and that's
I don't trust them.
That's where.
I don't care if you don't trust them. Can I please finish for 1 second?
Let's finish.
Yeah,
let him finish.
Mason Mount has 600 plus more minutes than Christian Pulisic this year in the Premier League. He has 1 more goal and 1 more assist. He's played 600 plus more minutes. You cannot tell me if Pulisic had played 400 or 500 more minutes that he'd be sitting on 1 goal and 1 assist. You can't tell me that.
No, what I'm saying is that the managers trust Mason Mount over these players on the bench.
Declare to do what? To do what?
But that's why we're criticizing
to play any role he needs him to play.
And play it poorly?
Yo, you love this guy,
Josh.
You be defending him. I'm sorry. I don't get how.
I'll just say, right. Mount hasn't had a lot of great performance this year over the 3 years, right? But what I don't like is that he's a lot of people's go-to when something goes bad. Like they don't want to talk about the
plays every game.
Can I just say,
one at a time, please. One at a time, please.
That's my question. If Potter gonna be like, for example, Potter versus Mount, who gets sacked? Potter get contract?
Potter will be going first.
Obviously. But then I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying.
I understand both sides in terms of with Josh and declared in terms of like Mount shouldn't be playing as much as he should. Like he should have had more games on the bench, being dropped, all that. He should be being subbed off earlier, whatever. I do, by the way, on a side note, it's a small positive to me that at the very least, Potter is taking Mount off the pitch a lot more than Tuchel used to. Because even when he was garbage, Potter used to keep him on for the whole night. It's not Potter. Tuchel used to keep him on for the whole 90 minutes, and it would wind me the fuck up. At least, at the very least,
this is like Mount's worst season, right?
It's something.
It's a very small positive. It's a very small positive, but at least it's that. At least that. What I would say on the declared side of it is like
start him a couple of games. I didn't see Potter doing that yet.
Potter's not started him a couple of games as well. Like, we have seen him not start a couple of games, but I do agree he gets overplayed too much. Yeah. What I will say is I kind of do understand Claire's point, and this is where I think after January and after the summer, next summer, then I want to see then if the guys like Havertz, if he's still here, and Mount still start. Because if they do, then I've got some serious fucking questions of now you've had 2 windows, well, 1 or 2 windows, where you can get players in. Say we get an Nkunku in, or we get an Leao or a Kvaratskhelia or whoever, or we get a midfielder in, and these guys are still playing, then I've got serious questions. But it might just be a case of he doesn't really trust the guys on the bench as much, and he sees it how I explained earlier, where even if he takes Mount out, like there's not that great a replacement. Like even though I agree, I think Gallagher is better. It's not like you're going from like a Mount to a De Bruyne or something. Like it's a small increase.
But then Scott, that's a problem because Mount is not even performing at a good level. It's below par. It's not even like he just.
I agree, and he should be out of the team. I don't rate. And by the way, again, the one guy in the thing that seems to think I rate Mount. Do you know me? I've been on this Mount train for like 2 years. He's garbage.
If Javi tells you you love this man, then that's when
he's shit. But I do get the argument.
There's one big factor.
I love Jennifer.
Maybe Potter just doesn't trust the whole squad.
I didn't say Scott.
Hey, there's one big factor.
No, there's someone in
I
the
don't
chat.
expect
There's someone in the chat that thinks I love Mount because he's.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to see the World Cup players play.
We've got
a whole bunch of fringe players that we want to take risk on that aren't going to play in the World Cup.
Always.
Well, to the trust thing, right? So like a guy like Thiago Silva, I trust him, right? I trust him because when he plays, he pretty much plays well most times. What do you trust about Mason Mount? You know what I can trust? I can trust he's going to suck for 90 minutes. That's what I trust right now.
His availability. He will never.
I can trust his running.
Because he's going to run straight out of play.
Oh, so okay, we trust his running. We trust the bare minimum requirement of a professional player.
Being sarcastic. Yeah, I agree with you.
The trust that I brought up is the manager's trust. The manager needs a player to do a certain role, and he goes to Mason Mount.
Yeah.
He doesn't go to other players. We all of a sudden have Gallagher, who we all said he's similar, and there wasn't that option before. So we should have seen Mount drop more, which you did see direct, subs for. But even Gallagher, there's a bit of doubt. Manager wants a player to do a certain role, and he goes to Mason Mount, and it's been 3 managers that have done that, and that's why you're asking why his stats are this. But it happens. There's something there that Mount is giving trust to the manager to do a certain role than other players.
He did it at Brighton as well. I will say,
there might be another player that does that takes over that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but for now,
Listen, you could pick any of these dudes if you want to have somebody put a poor performance out there. Like he's not. You're already trusting him to do. He's not performing. Trusting him to what?
I'm sorry.
We're not sure how Potter wants to play, but it could be off the ball. It could be the running that we criticize. It could be something. But Potter for that role says, I need a player to do something.
I don't want the player off the ball. I don't want the player performances better off the ball than on the ball. If you have a technical ability off the ball better than on the ball, there is something seriously wrong with you as the player. If you have performances off the ball better, I don't care how off the ball you are. If you first touch of Lukaku.
Yeah, it was just a point. I think Mount is very versatile, and in this position, all the 3 managers have in common they never had their players, and they're trying to make do with a lot of people. Sterling's playing out wide, not his greatest position. Tuchel did the same thing, played players out of positions, and Mason Mount is that perfect player to fit, to fit a puzzle that doesn't fit right, while we get the player. Lampard, Tuchel, now Potter don't have the players the ideal players that they want to play this certain way. So they're trying to make everything fit, and that's why when Mason Mount comes in, and he can fit, he can do certain roles. Not the best, right? Once Potter gets his players, maybe Mount never gets in the team. But this is why. This is the big surprise. Why Mount gets in a lot of
sounds. I will say as well.
It does sound stupid.
I was going to say as well. Like this is the thing.
I think money. This guy is going to outlast everybody.
He probably will, and he shouldn't. Like he probably will, and
he's still going to get better.
With
We're
the
talking about
trust
23-year-old too.
Yeah, with the trust thing as
and
well.
I think his biggest problem is over.
I'm not saying with the trust, by the way. What I'm about to say, I'm not saying that this is Potter's doing the right thing in putting trust in Mount. But the thing with managers trusting players is we've seen it before. Managers will trust certain players even when it doesn't make sense. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Look at United at the moment. For most of the start of the season, Ten Hag was trusting McTominay, even though he is a garbage footballer, has been garbage, but he did improve. He's still not great, but he did improve. Arteta trusted Xhaka massively, even though most of the fan base wanted him out. It has since turned around and now works. I am not for one moment saying that what he is doing in terms of trusting is the right thing. It is not. What I'm saying is it can go long term in one of 2 ways. And at the moment, I'm going to let it slide for the moment. Come January, if we get a midfielder in who plays the same position, or we get an attacker in who plays the same position, and it's still happening, cool. Then I'm going to start throwing questions and being seriously pissed off as to why this guy is still playing, even though you've now bought a guy that you wanted to play the same position. I understand the trust. I'm not saying it's the right thing, but I do understand it.
It could happen before. It could happen before the transfer season. It just needs someone to step up.
Again, Scott,
I heard Newcastle wants him.
Go on, Josh.
No, Scott, I hear what you're saying. Like, if we didn't have anybody else to do a job, but you can't tell, like Connor, like even in the 7-8 minutes a game that Gallagher gets, he's way better than Mount. He gets himself into dangerous positions every game. He almost scored a goal in the Arsenal game yesterday. The ball was maybe a hair behind him. He just gets it just kind of bangs off his foot, but he's inside the 6. Like he's getting himself in those kinds of positions. Mount's not even doing that. Like,
hey, Josh, if Mount played for Everton, if Mount played for Everton, do you think any person in this fucking fan base would be clamoring for that player? No. Would you like to know why? Because they wouldn't even know who the fuck he was.
He'd be I'm
sorry, guys. I am done with the revisionist.
No, I disagree with that. If we had the Declan Rice in our team, Declan Rice will ask for Mount to join.
It would be the reverse scenario.
That's a fair point. Now, Alex, my overarching point is this. He is the most pedestrian, average, unimpressive player. He has no athletic attributes to stand up whatsoever. He's just popular. And the other thing, you guys wonder why he gets minutes. It's because he has conversations with the manager before and after practice. It's because he has a relationship with every manager that comes in. He gets in there early and he gets his con on early.
Is that actually true?
To be fair, that genuinely might be it. That's the thing. None of us really know.
He might just be
but none of us really know why he trusts him. Like we don't know that because we're not privy to the conversations they've had in training or they've had in private. But at the end of the day, like I don't want that trust to be there. I don't think it's right. But now he trusts him. It's But now he trusts him, and I've got to see. At the end of the day, I've got to see how far this trust goes. I've got to see how far this trust goes. Because I will say as well, for people pointing out and saying it's a racial thing. No, it's not, because as we've just pointed out, Gallagher could play in the same position, and he's English and from Chelsea, so it's not a race thing.
It's not a race thing.
Not a race thing.
Mount gets his training.
Trust me, from having conversations with other people on streams and on Twitter.
Then you're having conversations with the wrong people, man.
Mount gets into training. Mount gets into training early. Hands
that's the thing.
It might nudes in it. He knows what
he does. And that's the thing. And again, I'm not saying it is right. I'm not saying that's that the trust should be there. I'm saying that the trust is there for one reason or another. I need to see how long that trust lasts. In terms of between Potter and Mount, does it reach a point where he just goes, "Fuck this, I'm fed up and I'm done with it," or how long is that trust gonna last before there are serious negative consequences?
Scott, I'm not talking about. You have to look at the comment. I'm not talking. Scott, I'm talking about is that trust? Is that trust going to cost him his job? Okay, but this is pertinent. The comment that Grant Potter made after the game. Hold on.
Did Zachariah lack social skills? Is that why he couldn't get the minutes? Is that what you're saying?
Declare, let him speak, Declare.
Okay, look. The comments that Potter made after the game, to me, the one thing he said that was the most shocking was Mason likes to play games.
Yeah,
and he had the fucking balls. He had the balls to say that.
You got a boner, Declare?
Mason had to play games.
Yeah, that didn't make sense to me either.
It's just the stupidest comment I've ever heard in my fucking life. It just shows that he likes to play games. Is this U12 football? What are we doing here, Potter? You looked really naive speaking in those terms.
The whole post-match. The whole post-match with Potter, the interview and the press conference, all of that was just a whole bunch.
Oh yeah. The players gave their all. Oh my god.
That I can't that. I'm not. That's just.
Hey, Scott. Mason likes to play games. He likes to play in the game, Scott. I mean, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
That I can't explain.
There might be some logic. There might be some logic to some of these ridiculous comments. I think this is Potter's most pressured interview ever that he's probably had in his life.
Probably. Yeah, probably. When somebody asks you, I don't think your players know what tactics. I don't think your players know what they're doing.
Yeah, he gave a real great answer back, Alex. I think they did. What?
I think we did.
I think the media knew. I think the media knew as well that he was really crumbling, and that's why they asked the big questions.
Oh, they baited him.
This is why I asked.
They baited him hard.
He lost the temper. I've never seen him lose a temper.
Yeah,
that's why I asked.
He wasn't prepared for this, man.
No, he wasn't
for that interview.
he wasn't. But I
would have loved to have heard Tuchel's response. I would have loved to have heard Tuchel's
That's the
response.
thing. I think Tuchel's response would have been different. But what I will say is,
way different.
Again, it's like the whole like press conference and the whole like what he said was wrong. I understand it a little bit in terms of he's not been here that long. He probably doesn't want to piss the players off. Like that is the only explanation I can give. Apart from that, hang on. Apart from that, again, I'm not saying what he said was right. Like I'm trying to understand it a bit better. But like the whole interview, the whole comments was just like stupid. I'm trying to understand it a bit better. I'm not saying it was right. It's just
if you do it again, it'll be 10 times better. But at that moment in time, there's a lot going on.
Like I was gonna say, in a year, if we have the same game, a year or two, we have the same game, and it's the same players that let him down, he might speak differently. Like,
well, Scott, here's my
the same thing. Can I just say last thing on it?
You guys can continue this. I just need to read this because it was a few minutes late. Miguel says, "Big up, Lewis. We need to have an honest convo about an aspect of Roman's reign. His short-termism gave us a conglomerated squad and is why we are where we are today." I agree with that, but like there was reasons why every manager didn't work out too. Conte fell out with the board. Sarri was homesick. Mourinho had a point off the relegation zone. I keep saying Roman wanted a long-term plan after the first Champions League. It's just every option failed for their own specific reasons. I can't blame Roman for that personally. Context does have to be applied. But you guys can just
I would say, Josh, before you go, I did just want to say one final point on the thing. I think if you look at Tuchel, for example, the way he was in interviews towards the players was a lot different at the start and in the first year than it was at the end. Like you saw the comments he made about what we meant to do, or like I'm paraphrasing, it was like, what are we meant to do? We've got the same players, so we're going to play the same way, or whatever it was. Like I think potentially in like a year or two, we could see something different in terms of what Potter says. But either way, it was stupid what he said. What he said wasn't right.
Thank you. That's all I needed from you, Scott. That's all I needed from you. Thank you.
Here's my thing on that. Well, then, if we're saying if he's been told, listen, you're the long-term guy for this project, and we're all admitting that most of these players aren't good enough, why does he care? Establish some dominance. Establish yourself as the leader of this team. Don't come out and cow down to fucking Mason Mount and Kai Havertz and
Josh. They can still get him sacked. True.
Come out and say what it is. Like if you're the guy who's supposed to be here long term, why are you scared to upset the players, dude? Well, Josh, these guys are going to be gone in 6 months.
No, they can still get him sacked. Those players can get him sacked.
Because guess what he can do? He can put him on the bench.
I was going to say, I think it also comes down to like where they like their kind of background of learning, because like I think it just comes to like his background in terms of where he's come from in terms of the way he's learned football. Because I saw someone mention an example of Arteta benching Aubameyang despite being top goal scorer. That's because he learned under Pep, and Pep was just a madman when it came to like man management at times. Like the way he spoke to like Zlatan and the way like he treated like Eto'o and whatnot at times. Like Yaya, like I think it can come down to like background of where you learn from as well. Because if you learn under, like for example, Lampard learned under Mourinho, like, and so it's not surprising that his man management skills were as good as Mourinho's was.
But Scott, that's because he knew he was going to be there. Like Pep knew he was going to be there. Tuchel should know I'm going to be, or not Tuchel. Sorry, Potter should know I'm going to be there. I've been given a 5-year contract. They want me to build a project. So go ahead now and start establishing yourself as the manager, the head coach, the leader of this team.
I just don't see him person of authority, Josh. I don't see him person of authority.
Alex, you might have a point there. Yeah.
Hey, Josh, I agree, but he needs some credit in the bank. I mean, I don't think you can say that now, even though you got a 5-year contract.
Well, okay, guys, I actually think, look,
you guys, I've got to record the video, so I'll be back in 10. You guys,
that's fine.
Yeah, I'm done. I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Hey, Josh, new regime, right? So we can't say that Foley is going to do what Roman did because they're way different people. Okay, so I will say this. Look, Potter is going to have a leash. And the fans need to make a decision. Are we going to treat this as we have done for the last 20 years? Or are we going to say, fuck, we got to bite the bullet here. We got to give him his leash. We got to give Potter enough room where he could hang himself if he keeps fucking up. Or he can make it really good for himself and for everybody else and change this narrative around to something more along the lines of Man City, Liverpool, what have you. This, I think, is a pivotal moment for the club, for the manager, for the fans, and for the players. Are we going to do what we've done before and be recidivists, or are we actually actually going to say, okay, rebuild, new regime, long-term project. We're actually going to do this even if it sucks for like a year.
Well, I'm more than willing to give him that time if he's going to show me from the start that he's here to do that. If you come in and the first thing you start to do is kowtow to some of these bums, then you're showing me right away you don't have what it takes to lead this team into the future. Like, he should have came in and put his foot down right away. This is how we play football. We're going to play this way. If you can play this way, you're going to play. If you can't, you won't. Like, and it shouldn't be like, I need to change systems 5 to 10 times to try to see if I can get the best out of these current players. Like, no, go in, establish yourself, put your system in place, tell these guys how you want to play, give them the opportunity to play that way. The ones who can will play, the ones who can't will leave. And you've established yourself now as a guy who's going to be there. So what Pep did, it's what these top managers do when they come in. They don't kowtow and like play some bullshit formation to try to get the best out of the guys they have. They implement their system. They play with the guys who can do it and the guys who can't ship out. I don't care if it's Mason Mount, Kai Havertz. I don't care who it is. Like, if you can play my way.
I agree, Josh. About hearing your point kind of occurred to me. Is it possible that Potter might have an expectation? I mean, from Bowley. Bowley has the expectation.
Of course.
To hit.
Well, of
yeah,
course.
but like I was going to say, like, people can have their
season.
Yeah, but people can have their expectations, and you can still not hit those expectations, but show enough that it's worth giving you a chance. Like, I know I keep going back to them, and I know people use the same argument, like with Arsenal, for example. You can't see them. I know the Kroenke's
Scott, it's a good example.
I've seen people in the comments and like getting sick of Arsenal. They haven't won anything. It's like, that's not the point,
buddy. It's a good example. It's a good example.
I know the Kroenkes aren't the best owners, but at the end of the day, they do have expectations if they want to finish top 4.
Yeah,
right. And he finished 8th, and 5th. But they saw enough progress with what he had, with the players he had, who in most instances weren't good enough, and with the limited backing that they gave him, and the fact he was their guy, that they could give him time, and now they're reaping the rewards of that. So, it's
but
like,
it might not apply to us.
Even if he doesn't, say his expectations are top 4, we don't finish top 4, we finish 6th, maybe even 7th. If he has shown enough from an instance of like, you get me this player or that player, like I can make it work, then I think Bowley can still give him the backing anyway, even if he does have expectations. I think.
Hey Scott, I think
you can
there's a middle ground
and still show something.
Scott, I think there's a middle ground, and that is January. I feel like if Bowley's like, all right, Graham, let's sit down for a second and have this conversation. You are struggling. We get it. We hold on.
It's a dinner.
We get you. Oh, you're right. Hey, meal, good meal, right? Good meal. Okay, but okay, so they sit down to a good meal, wonderful meal, great food. But he says, all right, we're gonna meet on common ground here, and I'm gonna get you Nkunku and Leao in January. I'm gonna get you Edson Alvarez or Moises Caicedo or whomever. I'm gonna get you 3 players in January. Can you meet me halfway and promise me either top 4 or 1 or 2 trophies? But it's got to be at least one of those things. If he can do that, then Potter will be fine. But we do need reinvestment in January, and that includes maybe even paying an extra 15 mil for Nkunku. We just have to do it.
Exactly.
Well, that's where Josh's thing comes in, because where Arteta finished 8th, and if Potter finishes 8th, that could cause maybe him sacking. And the same reason why there might be a high expectation is why he doesn't try his system, like Josh is saying. Why don't you just come here and play the way you want to play? Because he's trying to actually win. He's trying to actually not check it up.
I agree with Ed, but if that happens, say we finish 8th and he gets sacked, then it's just the previous regime all over again.
Right.
Like that's not building.
I'm trying to work out a owner that we don't know. The only thing we know is that
I agree, but
you sacked people at the start.
He did.
That wasn't footballing reasons. That was not.
Yeah, well, no, it was footballing reasons, but it wasn't results based. Yeah, it was footballing reasons, but not results based.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was more like he was not getting along with anybody.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's our only example of our owner's decision. The other decisions were the transfer season and the direct and who he hires. I mean, we don't have a lot to go off. It's hard to say what Bowley will do. That's why the example
I
even
agree,
Tuchel
but
thing was very.
I think the 5-year contract says that he's going to back him because you don't give a manager a 5-year contract. Like you give him like a 3-year, maybe a 3+1.
Yeah, and Scott, look, he's building his executive branch here. You know, he's building.
And like exactly,
He's got a bunch of scouts coming in. He's trying to
get like 4. He's trying to get like 4 different people in just in like.
So, and anybody that understands what happened in the spring, when you're buying players and they're all announced at the end of May, beginning of June, those players were bought in January. Those players were bought in February. All those negotiations, all the paperwork, all that shit, that was done months ago. We weren't allowed to do that shit. We only got to start the conversations in June. So if everybody's wondering why we're playing pickup or catch up, you can ask the former fucking prime minister that just got ousted as to why we're still playing catch up. It's because we were blamed for an illegal war. That's it. A footballing club was blamed for this. And because of that, we are we're still behind. Okay, but we can catch up in January. We absolutely can.
Yeah, and the thing is as well is with the like expectations, you can have expectations, but they can't be the be all and depending on where you finish, they can't be the be all and end all of what happens in the season.
Right. It's got to have context. You have to have context.
Like you can have expectations of finishing top 4. But that it can't be top 4 or you're sacked because that's literally what the previous regime was. That doesn't work anymore. Like that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like sooner or later, you run out of managers, or you just run out of being able. Or it just leads to you signing mismatched players, and the team becomes mismatched, and then you'll just run out of managers, and you'll run out of. You'll turn into United, where like you're not challenging for the trophy for like a league title for like 10 years. You're getting nowhere near, and it's just your club is just like a top 4 club and no better.
We all
Why
agree.
does he keep playing Havertz, dude? I don't understand, dude. He's playing.
Fuck knows. Fuck knows. Like again, this might come into come January if he gets Nkunku in. Is Havertz still going to play? If he is, then again we go back to the why the fuck is he trusting these players? But if January comes, we get Nkunku in and Havertz is never seen again apart from cup games, then it's like okay, cool. It was just a case of at the time didn't have someone who could come in to replace him.
Well, Scott, I can see Nkunku playing attacking mid, dude.
I think he'll play in the Havertz position. I think going forward, we'll have Aubameyang as the striker, and we'll have a 10 behind him that is either going to be Havertz or Nkunku.
Yeah, that's where I think he's going to play. Yeah, 100%.
Right. Well, if you look Sunday, we were basically I think in attack in like a 4-3-1-2 basically. So he would probably and Havertz was sort of that one in behind. That's probably where you would see a guy like Nkunku play in that formation.
No, he's attacking.
And then you have you're a striker like Aubameyang and you could have Aubameyang and Sterling up top, or if they move on from Aubameyang in the summer and they bring someone else in, you've got maybe a second striker kind of player like a Leao in that up top with Sterling kind of role.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sounds good to me, man. Sounds good to me.
The expectation could
Havertz
be
is supposed to provide for Aubameyang this Sunday. I don't know. Those 2 cutbacks were so fucking annoying to watch.
Yeah. I had no issues with Aubameyang at the weekend. If I'm being honest, he's there to score goals and not create them. He probably had one of the best create opportunities when he did that nice little flick on to Havertz. It's probably one of the more creative things in the entire game. But that's not his job. That's not his job. His job is to score goals that are being played into him. Havertz missed him twice on 2 squared runs. I got no issues with Aubameyang. The guys in behind him, those Mount, Havertz, Sterling, those guys are there to create for him. And they did not do that.
13 completed passes, Josh. 13 completed passes.
That's why I'm not going to give as much energy to the likes of like Aubameyang and even Sterling to an extent. Because it's like with Aubameyang, I knew this is what type of striker he was.
He needs
I knew this. It's why I didn't want him. Not because I thought he was terrible, but because this is the type of striker he is. And in our team, because of the way the rest of the team is, you need a complete forward. You need someone who's going to drop deep, link up the play, but then on the other end is also going to create chances out of nothing, score goals like Haaland's doing, where he's literally like he's getting service, but on the odd occasion he's creating something out of nothing.
Scott, you know who would be perfect for us? Is a 26-year-old Roberto Firmino.
I'd say Ivan Toney would probably be perfect.
Well, I'd say a couple of years ago, Firmino, like the player that we're looking for.
Firmino's from like a couple of years ago, but it's and it's like even with like a player like Sterling, I don't like he's been poor, but I don't have as much energy to give to him because the thing with Sterling is he's come from a team where he like was scoring goals and doing well, but he had quality around him, didn't have to be the main guy all the time. Now you've got like he's come into this team and he has to do everything in attack. People expect him to do everything in attack, and he's not that guy. He's not a Hazard level because so few players are. And it's like you needed to surround him with other quality, like an Nkunku or Leao, whatever, and then you can like judge him based on that, because it's like he doesn't have all the responsibility. He has some of the responsibility, and it's like then I can see, right, he's got quality around him who can make the like give him the passes he needs or give him the time and space he needs. Then I can judge him fairly. Now it's like, what am I meant to judge? That he's having to do everything like 3-on-1 because friggin' Havertz is standing like in Aubameyang's pocket and Mount is standing on the goalkeeping line. Like,
Scott, but I have to say this: it's not as if there is no plan. Like you have certain fans that are sitting there kind of aimless and dejected, and they're saying, "What are we going to do? What are we going to do?" Actually, as expensive as this proposition is, it's also pretty simple. Nkunku and Leao. Now I know how fucking expensive that is.
The player is Leao, the guy that you guys are all talking about. Like, who's the guy you could play next to Aubameyang?
It's Leao.
Like Aubameyang would absolutely eat playing next to Leao. Like his ability to drive, get in the box, create chances out of nothing. Like Scott's saying, like that's the player. And if you put like Nkunku in behind him and you say, I don't know what their long-term goal striker is, but they've thrown some names out there. Let's just say a stupid name is a guy like Victor Osimhen.
Osimhen.
So if you had like a front three of like Nkunku, Leao, and Osimhen, like that's a pretty nasty little front three.
Hey, Josh, there's a reason why he hasn't signed, right? I mean, Leao
no question. See, like that's the problem. Napoli are known like awful negotiators.
Talking about Leao.
Okay, no question. Osimhen's in a similar situation though in Napoli. Like I think he has a year or so left on his deal, and we know Napoli are really hard to negotiate with for players like him. So if he runs his deal down and makes it to where Napoli are willing to accept a nice little payment for him, then. Those are two guys long term in those two forward roles that I think would be a lot of fun.
Earlier, I wasn't talking about Aubameyang being creative. I'm talking about Havertz and Mount not providing. Like literally, like Aubameyang, I'm not blaming him at all. 8 touches, that's fine. Like don't do it every game, but it's not his fault. Havertz, like you should have cut him back for the first one. Second one, why is he taking a shot from that angle? Like it's so weird. Like I don't know. I think Pulisic is play instead of Mount.
Dude, Mason Mount does that every game, man. Come on.
On Aubameyang as well. I think in every game so far this season we've played under Potter, I've seen him drop to the DM position to pick up the ball every single game. I could be wrong, but I'm sure I've seen him drop. Like,
past the halfway line.
Why is our striker playing where Jorginho is to get the ball? Like that should never happen in a team. That should never happen in a team.
Only on Tottenham.
No, actually, no. I tell a lie. The only way that should be ever happening as a team is if you have a false 9 and you've got goal scoring wingers who are more like a Salah or a Mane type. That is the only time that should be happening.
So it's Roberto Firmino.
We don't like.
It reminds me of Rooney was doing it too. And
exactly. But that's the thing is because then he had people either side of him. Who would get the goals? Like that's the only time that should be happening. Apart from that, the way we're playing right now, that should never be happening with Aubameyang, and never.
Yeah. No, Lewis, I saw your rant on Chelsea Fantasy. That you're spot on, man. Like
that was great with the hood. He had the big jacket.
That took me back to the days, bro. That took me back to that sorry season. Those rants.
17, 18, 18, 19.
Oh my god. Lewis, that was great, buddy.
Me through, bruv. I'm still debating whether to go Newcastle or not because I just
go. Like I said this the other day, like you.
Oh yeah. The nightlife, it might be worth it. Haven't been there.
Well, you're going to be a month without going games anyway, or 3 weeks, whatever it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One last thing, guys. Do you guys think City will play their A team on Wednesday?
Yes, they're going to play their A team.
We can do better against City or be B team, be B team.
Like, even if they put their B team out, right? Even if they put their B team out, their B team is still good enough. Like they've got like fringe players, quote unquote, who are scoring goals and are in form. They've got a guy who can't start most of the time at striker, despite he's a striker and plays wing most of the time. Came in for a game and scored 1 and assisted 1.
Yeah,
like I just
exactly.
We're getting fucked. We're literally getting bent over.
Hold on, they also have a lot of World Cup players.
Maybe.
All right.
They also have a lot of World Cup players.
Lewis, I gotta head out. Thanks for inviting.
Yeah, no worries. We're gonna wrap up anyway. It's been
cool. Good stream. Shit.
Yeah, it's been very therapeutic. But guys, big up. We're gonna be back tomorrow for the preview, so check that one out.
Cool.
And yeah,
Thank you, guys.
actually, Ronnie will be live later tonight. I'm gonna try raid that because I'd be very
Okay,
interested
guys.
to see what he has to say. But big up everyone, like.